You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
I have opinions.
All right, you have opinions? Great.
Hey, yo, whatever happens to these balls, happens to you.
Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I'm your host, the Outlaw LA Red. You can find me on social media at Justin Harvey 75, not Jason. Justin Harvey
75.
God damn it, Konnan. And since that thing aired last week, it's just gotten worse. Everybody on the friggin' webs is calling me Jason, whatever. Also, you can find the entire show on the social media at MMMshow 75. That up there is at Byron Fever. That over there is at Lucha Gringo on the Twit machine, but we call him Professor Casey. That over there is at Meef Loaf. Meef Loaf.
He looks like he eats meatloaf.
And that's not Bryant up there either. See, look, Konnan messed up everybody else's name too. It wasn't even just mine.
He didn't mess up my name.
He didn't mess up my name.
He called
I wasn't even on the episode. He didn't fuck my name up once,
which is sad.
Mainly, he didn't fuck mine up on his own show. So
yeah. Well, anyway, we did have a lot of viewers of that particular interview. We're going to show you guys the second part, all the missing pieces and parts of it today. And there's a lot of great stuff in there. Believe you me. We mostly showed last week the stuff relating to Lucha Underground, but there's a little more of that. And he gets knee deep into AEW, WWE, NWA, AAA, lots of stuff. A lot of great stuff coming from Konnan very, very shortly. But one of the things I kind of wanted to bring up this week, because I've noticed that there were a few comments and people saying stuff about, it was interesting to hear some of the stuff about the demise of Lucha Underground and this, that, and the other thing. But that actually is not something that Konnan knows a ton about because he wasn't there for it. He was getting information from the guys that he's close to, so he knew a little bit about it, but he wasn't really involved in the process and had kind of tuned out from the Lucha Underground thing at that point. So I wanted to discuss that a little bit because honestly, I feel like we're some of the few people that actually know the majority of what was actually going on, just because we were kind of talking with people from different parts of it, whether it be Thunder and Phantasma or trying to get out of their contract, or EV Dub, who's dealing with producing side, or, some of the other people involved with AAA. Like, we were getting kind of, various parts of the story, including part of the El Rey story. So just setting it up for people who don't understand, for the first and foremost thing to understand about Lucha Underground, if you don't already know, is that it was made up of 3 individual camps. And I'll actually say 4 because I'm going to include the talent as kind of the 4th camp. So you got the talent and kind of what their issues are, because that was all very public towards the end. And those things did come out. But then you've also got a couple of different branches. So first there's the LLC, which a lot of people refer to and is represented by Dorian Roldan. But Dorian also had other partners, John Fogelman being a big one of those, and a few other guys who were mostly just investors and were a little more hands-on at the beginning, but kind of stepped back once they started getting paid back some of their money or whatever. But John Fogelman was a big one. John was also very involved with El Rey. So he was a big part of it. He was kind of the Hollywood guy, and Dorian was kind of bringing this AAA IP up here and trying to license it and create some new IP. And they are considered Lucha Libre FMV LLC. That's one camp, and they had their own agenda. And their real agenda, especially from Dorian's side, was to bring the cool AAA IP and Lucha Libre to the States in a cool fashion for the States. That was really the goal on their side.
But you got to add in the one little tidbit, though.
Yeah, what's that?
The idea had to be given to them by Mass Republic.
Well,
I said Kevin Kleinrock. That to release the.
I will say that I really hope we get Ruben and Kevin on here at some point to tell us their part of this story, because I do believe that they are actually a very integral part of how a lot of this stuff came together and some of the behind the scenes stuff. And they also kind of got the shaft out of the whole deal.
I wouldn't even say kind of. They got the shaft. Yeah.
And we're not saying that simply
shaft.
because there are overlords. And
nails.
And honestly, I don't feel like we necessarily owe them anything except to turn in a weekly edition of this show. So I'm not backing them up in any fashion other than the truth, which is to say they were very involved and trying to be more involved and should have been involved in a lot of ways and ended up not being as involved as they should have been. And as you see now, they're still connected to these performers and the workers and still trying to do right by Lucha Libre in the States. And they're also trying to capitalize on it as well, because I think there is a very nice niche market for it here. And Lucha Underground did help that. So I think they've got a certain amount of love for Lucha Underground as well.
And so the fact is, if you ever wondered why Lucha Underground merchandise was shit and far in between, there's the shaft.
Yeah, that's part of it. If they had been in charge of that, that would have been a completely different story, because they would have stood something to gain from it too. Whereas some of the people involved didn't really. But Fogelman, I think, is one of the linchpins in the LLC that people don't get as one of the owners of Lucha Underground, because he was kind of double dipping on the Hollywood side and the IP side. Everybody involved was kind of double dipping. I mean, Dorian was double dipping in the fact that he had to protect his AAA interests, but at the same time, he wanted to move those interests into the US. Then you've got El Rey Network, and there's a couple components there. You've got Skip Chasen, who was basically the director who did all of the vignettes. Wonderful guy, genius auteur, awesome guy. But he is also double dipping because he's an executive for El Rey Network, as well as a director of the show who was very close to a lot of these ideas, like Pentagon breaking arms and other great things about the show that everybody knows and loves. And that are, he is very specifically, artistically, a huge part of the legacy of Lucha Underground. But again, he was working for El Rey and for the actual production. So he's got a double dip interest there. And then you've got Rodriguez, and people don't understand that Rodriguez and the El Rey Network is what is considered a boutique network. You put a famous guy kind of involved in it. He's got a stake in it, similar to Oprah's network. But at the same time, Oprah's network for a long time was basically controlled by Discovery Channel. El Rey Network is no different as a boutique network in the fact that they were basically controlled by Univision. So the day-to-day was kind of Rodriguez and his people, but Univision was making the big money decisions and making the big corporate decisions and the placement decisions and doing the carriage deals for how they got on networks or their DirecTV deal. The guys over at El Rey in Rodriguez's office had nothing to do with that part. And people don't necessarily get that. So when we refer to El Rey, we're not just referring to Robert Rodriguez, which is what a lot of people think. That's highly inaccurate. Then on the MGM side, you've got Mark Burnett, who has a myriad of things and is double dipping himself. He's got his own production company, but he's also an executive for MGM. And a lot of people, we just refer to that as the MGM side and not just the production company that did this show. And his right-hand man was Eric Van Wagenen. And, oh, God, your microphone's doing that thing, Byron.
This is what Casey was doing last week.
It's gone. Kind of like that, though.
The Byron.
Anyway, no, I can't hear a thing you're saying, but I'm just going to continue while you figure it out. So Eric Van Wagenen doesn't just do Lucha Underground necessarily. Wow, that was nasty. Eric Van Wagenen doesn't necessarily just do Lucha Underground. He does all sorts of other stuff for Burnett. He was the executive producer on the Celebrity Apprentice with Schwarzenegger and doing the Contender and other shows, and he's been around forever, and he did Tough Enough and a bunch of these other things. So he's got his interests in the TV side. What happens with season 4? I think we all know. Well, but this isn't why the show went away, by the way. So one of the things to look at, like a lot of people think, the show went away because it turned into trash. That's not true. The ratings were fine, season 4. The ratings were almost the same as season 2 and 3. They were not in the garbage can at all. But the show was trash. Let's not lie. It was trash. There was a lot of stuff in season 4 that I liked, and a lot of stuff that I have issue with. I think we've discussed, and we'll continue to discuss that because we were heartbroken to a certain extent by the things that were bad, especially with the fact that there were some things that were also still awesome that came in, like Sonny, like Kevin Cross, things that we really liked, and AR Fox. Notice, however, that none of those things that I'm saying are luchadors.
Right.
There was a lot of stuff I loved in that season 4, but not a lot of it was Lucha Libre stuff, which is really, really disappointing in a lot of ways. But Phoenix in season 4 was great. I had no issue.
Yeah, Zombie Phoenix was the shit. Yeah,
was absolutely the shit. One of my favorite incarnations that he's ever had. But in Sammy Callahan, I liked that third and fourth season. Like a lot of guys, there was a lot of stuff I liked, but again, not entirely Lucha Libre. That is not what killed the show. What killed the show started back with that hiatus. I mean, what was that hiatus like for you guys?
We knew it was the writing was on the wall, really, wasn't it? Then we knew it was something was going to happen with that.
I don't know if the writing was on the wall, but it ruined a lot of the goodwill.
The air went out.
Like Konnan talked about at the beginning about bringing Lucha Libre back, bringing back a culture, and giving a lot of fans of Lucha Libre something to root for, but also it gives them the respect of being presented to. And getting away from that lost a lot of that appeal, but also almost seemingly random breaks, the break times. This is short, this is long. Now we're going to pause in the middle of a season because we want to maybe promote another show or something when we bring Lucha back. All these things it lessened the trust the fans had with the show.
Yeah, and then they ended up promoting the fucking haircut show.
No, that was at the beginning. There's a guy, like, when we were waiting in line, there's a guy
who wants a Lucha Underground haircut?
No, that would have been cool. I think he was doing like the haircut logo instead.
I mean, I didn't have any problem with the cross promotion, but at the same time, and the hiatus didn't even not make sense. What didn't make sense was that they pulled the trigger on it after the first half of that season had already started airing. Normally, if you're a network, you make that kind of decision a little bit sooner. Or you're one of the major 3 and you have the ability to make those kind of decisions on the fly, but they also cancel awesome shows all the time doing crap like that. And it starts to show that the network itself is having an issue. And that's where you get a lot of people bashing El Rey. But it went a step further than that because go ahead, Meef. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, because we had this hiatus for the second half of season 3. And then because that fucked it up. But also then if they'd filmed then, they would have been all right.
Correct.
But they didn't start filming until 6 months after?
So it was even longer. So basically
it was almost a year.
By the time that hiatus happened on TV, that season 3 was already done filming. Mm-hmm. And then after that, El Rey did not pull the trigger on an immediate renewal for season 4. Yeah. This is where everything really got crazy. Dorian was having trouble with the IP and talent wanting to use the IP other places, didn't really know what to do with that, mishandled some of it and started correcting some of it from the end of season 1 and 2 at the same time. But this is where a lot of the talent started to become an issue in the fact that they had legitimate grievances. And Dorian was trying to address that. He was trying to play hardball to some and trying to work with others and trying to work with Impact and doing other events. And because he is also, again, not getting an answer about what's happening with this IP. He didn't really have any bargaining chips other than whatever he was doing in AAA at the time. Mm-hmm. So it's not to defend him. It's just that's part of the business too. Yeah. He didn't have something to offer. And he's being told basically by his partners that he's got to protect this IP because it might come back and be more money for them at El Rey. They did not legitimately know if there was going to be a season 4. At the same time, Van Wagenen and the MGM camp are trying to negotiate with El Rey. And of course, everything is going swimmingly with Skip and Rodriguez. Please don't think that it wasn't. Skip, especially more than anybody, wanted the show to come back and was looking for smart and fun ways to do it. But here's the rub, and here's the part that a lot of people don't get. Univision wanted to pay less for the show. Lucha Underground was done on a per episode budget, just like shows that Byron and I do are. I'm not going to tell you what that number was, but that number was a medium reality show budget type number that they had to basically complete the episodes in. Burnett, however, and his camp were actually hoping to get more money because the ratings had been solid. It was a fun show. everyone creatively was loving where the show was at. There were no complaints about what they were actually putting on TV from any of the camps. They all loved the show. The talent loved the show. The producers loved the show. There was nothing wrong with the actual show at that point after season 3. Even though the hiatus sucked, nobody was mad about the programming itself or the content. But they wanted to spend less money making it. So they went back and forth forever. And some of the things that were thrown out to try to cut budgets were absurd. And I remember talking to some of the people involved at the time, and like, you know, all we wanted to know is, hey, is it coming back? But man, if you asked that to any of the players involved, you would get an earful because they were all pissed on every side. The El Rey people were like, damn it, why can't Van Wagenen just give us a budget that makes us work and just do the show? And, you know, the MGM guys were like, damn it, why can't they just give us money to make the show the right way, or at least do exactly what they did last year? If they did exactly what they did last year, we could just hit the go button, you know. So budget proposal after budget proposal was submitted. El Rey would be pretty cool with most of them, and then Univision would gun them down and come back with some absurd, outrageous thing the opposite direction to try to make the show happen the way they wanted, which would have killed the show creatively. But anyway, what were you gonna say, Case?
The real villains here are Univision. People want a villain. There we go. That's
it is, or it's MGM for trying to make a better show. I mean, maybe they're the villains for not wanting to make a cheaper show. I don't agree with that personally, but I think that there's a case for that.
Justin, we heard some of those ideas. There's no fucking way that would have been a better show.
I don't disagree. I don't think it would have been a better show, but for the sake of it still being on and maybe streamlining it and making it a little more like Impact was around the same time, that was an option, and it was an option that MGM declined. They did not want to make that version of the show. So I can't take them totally off the hook. I, however, think that the way that they wanted to make the show was the better call. And I personally admire them for sticking to their guns on that level, because we wanted to see that version of the show. That's the version of the show we all came for. So, but you could have done it a different way. So,
and we still didn't quite get it, but we got as close as we could possibly get, probably.
Correct. So then here's the problem. Finally, El Rey gives the green light on season 4. Then they want it to be done immediately all of a sudden. Like,
taping next week.
Like, wait, we've got to reel our talent back in. We've got to write the 4th season, because, you know, Joseph and Roach had ideas, but they hadn't been paid to put those ideas on paper yet. And now was the time to finally commit to those ideas. So they start trying to figure it out. And originally, you know, El Rey wanted it back in like 2 months or something, or taping in 2 months. There was no way that was going to happen. And then there was this slight other change. We had a new president in the Oval Office who had slightly changed some of the laws for visas. And it was still possible for all these people to get visas under the same guidelines. However, they took longer to get. So no one really entirely realized that at the time. You've got all this talent basically trying to get across the border, and DeJoseph and Roach starting to write for all this talent. They had a 4-month window from green light to taping day. But the new plan was to tape everything in a month, an entire season in 1 month. This had never happened before. Okay, normally they were shooting every other weekend. They were doing 4 episodes a weekend. Now they were going to shoot every week, 4 weeks in a row, 3 tapings a week, which would lead to 6 episodes done in the can per week, 2 episodes every night.
Yeah, which means they weren't doing Fridays before, just Saturdays and Sundays. Correct. And then suddenly they were doing
Saturdays and Sundays every other week was what they were doing before.
Yeah, they would do chunks of time before, but I think they were even doing season 4, like vignettes, the cinematic stuff during the week. Like they brought everyone in for the 4 weeks and they owned them the whole time.
And this was a plan that Evie Dub had signed off on eventually, and just was like, okay, look, it's still enough money to get it done. We can get it done this way, you know. And if it had been a regular TV show where you weren't talking about people physically putting their bodies on the line, would have been fine. And honestly, the only real victim of that in this season was AR Fox. AR Fox was not healthy enough to go for the whole season, so his whole thing kind of went to shit, which is really a shame. They had big plans for him. I'd still love to hear what those plans were, but they weren't able to pull them off. Then the other part of the problem that is really no one's fault was the visa issue. Very simply, they wrote lots of cool stuff for lots of talent, had a lot of plans to go further down the Aztec tribal lines to show us more Lucha Libre, but they couldn't get those guys over here. The guys who didn't already have working visas could not make it again. And this has been a problem in the past from poor planning on the fact that they didn't know who they wanted to send. But in this particular season, they knew exactly who they wanted. They knew 3-4 months in advance, but then they just couldn't get them done in time. And there wasn't a long enough season to spread it out and get them later like they did with Wagner and some of these other guys. They had to get them right then because there's only a 4-week period of filming. Also, another big issue happens. They can't get the temple back. They had that thing reserved for so long and had finally let it go. And then they got the green light, and the dates that they needed to film, they absolutely could not get the temple. As being used for some, I don't know, Patrick Stewart, Mark Hamill commercial or something at the time.
Yeah, you see it in commercials all the time. This is a hot recording play location. It was used in the Saw movies.
Yeah, Man at Arms as well. The Danny Trejo.
And to get the place, they had to reserve it ahead of time and block out their time, which is what they had done before. And in fact, they'd even paid that reserve for time they didn't use in the past, but they couldn't go back there. So we get the Ice Temple, which I didn't have too much of a problem with. The talent, however, hated it. But I thought as a viewer, it was actually not bad at all.
Red's my favorite color.
Anyway, so the moral of the story is a lot of stuff stacked up. Then also when DeJoseph finds out he's not getting a ton of the talent, as you heard me mention in the Konnan interview, or you'll hear me mention later in the Konnan interview, Chris Roach wasn't available for the rewrites because he was doing Celebrity Apprentice, which was something that CBS had dropped in the pipeline on short notice, and not the normal time of their season. Big Brother, I'm sorry, Celebrity Big Brother though. So it wasn't the regular summer timing that everyone had been prepared for. It was this weird spring, early year thing. So that was still literally taping up into the first week. It was finished the first week of the new tapings of Lucha Underground. So your main co-writer is also not there for the debut weekend, which is 6 episodes on this schedule now.
What we're saying is Chris DeJoseph is to blame for everything wrong with season 4.
No, yes. I don't know that he's to blame for it. I think that he was handed a raw bill of goods. We can see in
certain aspects.
Well, I mean, I think he wrote what he liked from what he had, and I did not necessarily like everything that he liked about it. But I also don't think that those first 6 episodes were horrible either. And I think that once they got stuck with some of what he had to do in the 6 episodes, where they went with some of it wasn't the greatest. I liked the Big Bad Steve thing. I liked bringing in Sonny Kiss. I liked a lot of. I did.
Why remind me?
Well, I mean, look, you didn't like it. You don't have to like it. I'm just saying I did.
It's just the fact that Big Bag Steve existed.
He was great. I mean,
do you want to buy a mask, Byron?
Well, I mean, there's that element.
Do you want me to creep on you,
There's that element to it, but Big Bad Steve was a crucial part of the Lucha Libre element to the show, which you can't say about a lot of season 4.
Steve Payne is a good bass. Yes, he's a great bass, and we've said it forever. And I had making no comment about him outside of the ring. Anyway, look, that's kind of the moral of the story. A lot of people don't get that was what really was going on there, and we're still missing pieces of the puzzle too. I don't claim that we know all of it either. These are just the parts that we could see, and from talking to people personally that we felt out. I still don't know the entirety of what Univision was actually trying to accomplish. We still don't know what the status is right now, because literally right now, El Rey still has the TV rights. No one else can make Lucha Underground and put it somewhere else. If you make Lucha Underground, it has to go on El Rey. That part of the entire contract is going to lapse at some point. So then the question will be, do the 2 remaining parties, then MGM would have the rights to take it to a different distributor, because MGM is basically the manufacturer of it. Lucha Libre FMV is basically the idea of it, and El Rey is basically the distributor of it. That's kind of the way it works out right now. So they could find a different way to distribute it if the rights lapse with El Rey. Who knows if anything will happen with that, but I do know this. After season 4, or even in the middle of season 4, it was pretty clear that no one at MGM was happy with having to make the show on that kind of timeline. That didn't work for anybody. The way they did that 4th season, the writers weren't happy with it. The producers weren't happy with it. The talent wasn't happy with it. It was too much, too fast.
By the end.
Yeah, the fans weren't happy with the storylines. The fans could have cared less about how they were being made. And actually, towards the end, the Friday shows were packed. Everybody was enjoying it. Everybody was coming out. It was a lot, but it was a 1-month period of time. And somehow I literally made it to every single taping in season 4, which is crazy. I just happened to not be working that particular month. Anyway, long story short, Lucha Underground had too many chefs in the kitchen that weren't agreeing, and it became too difficult to make. It wasn't the ratings, and it wasn't the content, because it got watched. It wasn't that creative stuff that killed the show. It wasn't. It was the money behind the scenes and the fact that the producers weren't given enough money and leeway to make the show the way that they felt good about from Univision, the parent company.
Because the contracts were there, weren't they, for up to season? Was it season 7?
And honestly, Dorian was the one that comes out smelling like a rose at the end, because all he was trying to do was get his IP out there. He had the most legitimate input out of anybody at that point in time, and also slowly stopped fucking with people about the contracts. Slowly. Because towards the end, there were still people, our friends, many of which were still included, who still had issues, but they were eventually let out of those things. And there are people, believe it or not, there are people who are still under Lucha Underground contracts.
Yes.
They're not being enforced really, but they're still under them. Yeah. There were several different ones.
It's funny how it's a 4-season show, and I couldn't tell you when we actually started going to the tapings. Was it like 2005 or something, way back then? And still the eternal question is Lucha Underground going to come back? Because it's still a valid question.
Yes.
Because it really still could. But I can tell you that right now there are no active negotiations going on with El Rey Network. I don't believe that the show will ever come back on El Rey Network ever again. I think that's a done deal.
Are you sure that Lucha Underground Wrestling isn't bringing it back to the El Rey? Here's my question.
First of all, I very much enjoyed the El Rey Network, and I say that in past tense, and I add on to your statement: is any show going to come back to the El Rey Network? I
don't even think I get the El Rey Network anymore, because it's off of Spectrum. Yeah,
it's off of my Sling now too. I don't get it anymore either.
They took their satellite on the building and they pointed it at the moon, and that's where they send their broadcast.
But I feel back at itself.
I feel like that reflects again on Univision, who can't make these carriage deals, and they've been fighting about their other networks and primary networks to get on to these things. Like, Sling was trying to make it a point to have like a heavy Latino section, Spanish content and different wings just for cool Spanish content. And El Rey was part of that. And
then it just became reruns of Legend.
And Knight Rider. And I like some of that stuff too. Like I always enjoyed El Rey, but I don't get it anymore. So, but that's okay, because Lucha Underground's on Tubi.
Yes. It is for now, until that deal runs out and never gets renewed again.
But why? But Tubi is ad-supported. There's no cost to having it on there.
Gotcha. We only have to get through 100 more episodes of this before Tubi can get rid of it. So that's only like 2 years.
The refresher.
Tubi, please get rid of it. Please.
Hey guys, guess what?
Chicken butt?
Autumn is in the air. You know what that means? Autumn is in the air, and Manscaped is here to ensure that you don't carve your pumpkins when grooming. And by pumpkins, we actually mean your boys downstairs. In fact, Manscaped is on a mission to change the way you approach caring for your balls. And the great news, Meef, you're going to love this. The great news is they're now available in Australia, Canada, and the UK.
Hold on,
Yes.
is
Yes.
Neef still in the UK? Did he Brexit out of there yet?
So we
might
got
not be able to.
Meatloaf in the UK can buy them. Rob Viper up in Canada, if you're listening, brother, you can buy them. Gosse, you can
What do
buy
we
them
have
in
here?
Australia.
What do we have here? It's upside down.
So, check this out. So I know Casey, you already got yours, but check this out. I got my stuff today, so I want to go into some of these products and check them out.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll give you a little review because I used everything, Justin.
I love staring at
Sweet.
Justin's brown box.
That's what they all say. So look, that's a fresh tear. That's a fresh open. I have not gone into this bad boy yet. Literally.
Look at that
Smell
embossed lettering. It's so classy.
What is balls will thank you. Yes, they will. So I got to get right into this bad boy. You know what that is right there, Case?
That is the Lawnmower 3.0, sir.
Yes, the trimmer with the replaceable ceramic blades, and it's got the advanced skin-safe technology to keep you from jamming it up there.
Do the audience a favor. Hit that power button really quick. Hold it up to the camera. There's something important. Look at that light. That light is a game changer. It will change your life. You'll be able to see what you're doing. You won't nick the twig or the berries, but you'll get a lot of the shrubs out of there.
And this, you can get your butt, balls, and your body with this bad boy, right?
Oh yeah, your D's, your B's, your AH, everything is covered here.
I'll be honest, I'll probably have to get Paul to do it for me.
So what's in this bag? Is this the weed whacker? What's in this
Actually,
bag?
that would be your charger, and that would be the clipper cover, just in case you want to give the boys a trim, but not quite down all the way. You know, you can put like a 2 on there.
So if you're going out for a date, you want to do a trim, not a...
That's ball toner, the Reviver ball toner.
Oh my God. First of all, Justin,
Love
we
that.
need to pause a second because I have to tell the audience that as much as I love all the products that were included in this wonderful box, the ball toner is one of the most amazing inventions known to man. I used the ball toner. It says, go ahead and spray your nuts every time you need a pick-me-up. I need a pick-me-up every 5 minutes. I'm already done with the bottle. I need to order 3 more. But oh my God, you get like a tingle, you get like a good, cool feeling, and you just know that your nuts are in a state of well-being.
And that's more dope than the ball or the crop preserver ball deodorant.
Justin, I need you to open that and take a whiff because it smells amazing.
Take a whiff.
What does it smell like, Justin?
I need to know.
It smells like my balls right now.
Well, I don't know if that could be an advertising
great,
and the other part of it, balls. I'm just gonna take on your word for it. So wait, there's a whole nother layer underneath here.
Oh, dude, there's all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I love this. So there's like a shave kit and some other stuff in here. This is great stuff. I'm super digging.
Do you have the climate control boxer shorts in there, Justin?
Yes, I believe I do, Casey.
They are incredible. Very comfortable, very nice material. Supposed to keep your boys at a safe temperature because right now, you know, it's the fall season, but it's still really, really hot in California, Justin.
Well, that's true. You know, you want that pumpkin spice latte for your pumpkins going on down there.
Exactly. And you don't want to actually pour the pumpkin spice latte there. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Too hot.
It's way too hot. Instead, you want to use these products from Manscaped. Let me hit you off with a couple of the other great things that you guys can get out there. So in addition to the lawnmower, the new weed whackers, like a nose hair trimmer, also got the same stay safe technology.
Need to buy this immediately. I need this really bad.
I think you might have to send it to me.
And some of those other things we're talking about, they're in the crop care kit. That's the crop preserver ball deodorant, and that lovely ball that the ball wipes, I believe are in here also. So
those are called the crop mops.
Crop mop ball wipes. You never know when an opportunity strikes, right?
Yeah. You're about to head to an important business meeting. You need a little confidence boost. Give your balls a crop mop wipe.
You can actually get a little deal on the website, can't you, where you actually win news and they send you refreshments, like refresher bottles to fill up your ball.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. If you suffer from stank foot or stand on your feet all day, then there's also a product for you called the Foot Duster. It's foot deodorant.
Oh, that's what we do all day, Justin. It's
got like cooling tea tree oil, offers pleasant experience for the stankiest feet. It allows you to take your shoes off in comfort and confidence. Then you got the Manscaped Refined Cologne. Good, a cost-effective way to smell clean and refreshed there. And the crop cleanser, so hair and body wash. Look, here's the cool part about it, guys. We love this stuff. And if you are interested in this stuff, you can get a 20% discount. That's 20% discount. That's big time, right? 20%. Yeah. But here's what you got to do. Yeah. You got to use the code MMM. 3 M's. Masked, and Manscaped. And Manscaped today. So just remember that 3 M's get you a 20% discount. All right, get 20% off.
And I think you also get free shipping.
Free delivery, isn't it?
That's right. Free get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code MMMshow or just MMM. I'm sorry, MMM, and you can make your balls a priority this fall. So,
and I've got a message.
I can confirm that you do get this in the UK as well.
I've got a message for our listeners to put it in.
You get it in the UK too. You get the discount.
You get free delivery and discount in the UK as well.
Yeah. All right, UK fans and Goatsay out there in Australia or whoever else is out there, you got to do it.
Come on, Goatsay.
Yep. No more throwing a boomerang and hoping it trims some stuff off when it comes back.
I can't wait to try out the foot duster as someone who works and lives in a hotel room, because when you sleep within 5 feet of your boots, it creates an experience.
I can't wait for them to come out with a face fixer, because I think you could use that one, Byron. Anyway, what are you going to say?
Exactly.
My face is
Byron, if I could get the one to give a special message to our audience regarding Manscaped, please. Okay,
this is probably as much as I'm going to do.
Just give him the single. You can't give him the single? That's you. There it is.
Okay. Well, listen, audience. I need to put this in wrestling terms for you, because I know some of you guys are so obsessed with wrestling that it's the only thing you can think of. And I think that may be why some of your hygiene isn't completely on point. So I'm going to break this down to you in wrestling terms. All right. You're going to get this. You're going to get this Manscaped. You're going to get all kinds of good smelling stuff, but you're also going to get the Lawnmower 3.0. And you're going to take your Miguelito Perez and you're going to turn it into a Baron Von Raschke. And that is all the people need to know. I'm done.
Love
Byron.
it.
That's it. You can take it.
Hey, listen, we got to get to the second part of this interview with Konnan. This was from this year's Virtual Expo Lucha 2020. It is straight up fire. People are talking about it. It's on the Observer this week. We got great comments and feedback from Rob Viper. It's really not to put ourselves over, but I'm putting us over, because it's really one of the shining moments of the last month in wrestling in general. If you are a wrestling fan of any kind, this is the part to watch, because he does not just talk about Lucha Underground. Konnan gets into stuff with AEW, things with the Young Bucks, Penta, and Phoenix, the way they're getting used right now. All sorts of great stuff. So please stick around, because this is very, very interesting stuff. But right now, let's throw it on over to Denise Salcedo and Lucha Central to tell us what's happening this week on the Lucha Central Podcast Network.
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo here in Lucha Central with a reminder of where and when to catch all of the great network content this week. Get the full lineup and listen to all of our shows in the podcast network section of luchacentral.com. Sundays on the Lucha Central Facebook page, world-traveled shooter of the camera kind, Jerry Villagrana goes mano a mano with a fellow photographer to throw down about some of their favorite photos they have taken at Lucha Libre events. Monday, Business of the Business returns as Mass Republic President Kevin Kleinrock takes you inside how your favorite Lucha Libre merchandise gets made. On Tuesdays, Mass Mats and Mayhem takes you inside the world of Lucha Underground as they take you weekly through the series with the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of special guests from the groundbreaking series. Check out the premiere video stream every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on the Lucha Central YouTube channel and at luchacentral.com. Then listen to it on your favorite podcast platform every Wednesday. Tuesday nights live, it's Wrestle Boss, where Fabi Chulo talks MMA and pro wrestling with special guests and listener call-ins. Visit WrestleBossLive.com Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific to listen live or call in with questions, or download the show on podcast platforms on Wednesdays. Wednesday nights live on Facebook, it's Spanish show La Mesa de los Márgaros. giving you both the news and the chisme from around the lucha world. Special guests and a whole lot of fun make it one of the most talked about shows in Mexico. Thursdays, it's straight out of the bodega with Papo Esco and PWR promoter Gabriel Ramirez, as they have guests from throughout the wrestling world pull up to give an inside look into their careers. From indie standouts to television superstars, each week brings a new name and perspective. On Friday, it's your double dose of Lucha Central Weekly podcast, one in English y el otro en español. Lucha Central Weekly is where you'll find all the top stories of the week, both inside and out of the ring from Mexico and anywhere luchadores are in action across the globe. Be sure to subscribe and follow all your favorite Lucha Central Network series on your favorite podcast platforms, either by their own series name or subscribe to the Lucha Central Podcast Network show pages to get all of the shows in one easy feed. And please consider giving a rating to help more fans find the shows that you love. For now, this is Denise Salcedo signing off from Lucha Central Central. Have a great week.
We are joined today by a guy, I hope anybody who watches this show knows him very well. He's one of the guys who helped bring Lucha Libre to the States in the fashion that you know it today. He's worked with just about everybody, and I would swear to God, about 2 years ago, if you were doing something in wrestling that Konnan didn't touch outside of WWE, I would have been shocked and amazed, and maybe even still today. So we are joined today by the one and only master of the verbal gems, Konnan. How's it going today, Konnan?
Yo, what's up, Oso? Oh, do you listen to my podcast?
Yes.
All right. Sweet.
Good show. Good show. In fact, you know what? I'm going to start right there with your boy DI.
Right.
You guys were kind of promoting this thing a couple of weeks ago, and DI questioned why people would even care about a podcast that was still about Lucha Underground. Like, what the fuck is that?
Because he's still kind of ignorant, even though he wrestled with a bunch of luchadors, and he's actually wrestled for me and TJ, and a lot of his friends are luchadors. He's not a big lucha fan, and I think there's also a part of him that's just a natural provocateur, and he likes to get shit that's going to generate heat. You know what I'm saying? plus, we can't forget that at last year's Expo Lucha, if you guys were there or not, but it is documented, he got beat up by like 10 minis in a battle royal. So he might be there might be some sour grapes over that.
I believe if you keep watching this thread today that you will actually get to see that footage right here today on Expo Lucha. Yeah, I was a little salty by that. I mean, he was talking about Lucha Underground like it was this dead thing and that it didn't have some kind of impact on the wrestling business in general. And It's like, man, he was a big name or a mid-card name, 20 years ago. And even then, he was doing a disco gimmick from 20 years before that. And he was putting down Lucha Libre right now. I was kind of salty about that.
Yeah,
Normally, I agree with Glenn.
Well, let me tell you what's the problem with Glenn. It's the same problem we have with a majority of American fans. There's almost like a snobbishness about, oh, is that Lucha? And, how come they don't sell? And how come they don't do this? And how come they don't do that? And I go, so basically what you're actually telling me is, how come this isn't more like American wrestling? That's really what you're saying. This is because it's Lucha Libre. So like when you go to Japan, you don't ask Japanese why they eat with chopsticks. You know what I'm saying? That's their fucking culture, and strong styles their fucking culture. And that's our culture. Sometimes we just want to be entertained. We don't need to have a storyline. We don't need everything to look logical. Sometimes we just want to see a video game match. And I couldn't be too wrong, because if you look at the shit that I planted way back in 95 or 96, when we first went to WCW, when we were getting totally disrespected by the announcers, they'd be talking about anything but the lucha match. And when when they were talking about the lucha match, they were fucking talking down to it. Okay. Plus you had half the crew who hated lucha and were making snide comments all the time and didn't want to wrestle with us. Now you look at the impact that lucha's had, bro, like wrestling is more lucha centric than it is even American wrestling. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of gotten overboard. Why? Because the same thing I thought back in 96 held true for a younger generation. They were like, fuck the rest holds and fuck all this slow moving shit. I want to do some fast shit. I want to do flips. I want to do, and lucha brought, when you first see lucha, you're like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So, he's one of those guys that's never gotten lucha.
Yeah, it blew my mind. Like I was in 96, 95, 96, I was a huge ECW mark. I was tape trading and shit. I'm from that Gen X group of people that loved that stuff that was coming in. And my generation kind of saw Lucha Libre come into the States in a new way. We saw like hardcore wrestling become a thing and all these things that had this impact on wrestling down the line. And, it blew my mind the first time I traded somebody and got a tape that had Rey Mysterio and Psicosis on it. Like, I was like, what the fuck am I looking at right now? This is insane. Like, how responsible were you? And don't get me wrong, I got a ton of Lucha Underground questions, but I just want to know, like, how responsible were you in those early days in getting those guys over here and bringing that style up here? And why did you even think that it could play in America?
1000%, bro. I was always their biggest promoter because I just always, when I met Rey Mysterio, when I first saw Lucha, here's the other thing that, let me just preface it by saying this. I grew up in Miami, okay? But I didn't grow up like a fanboy or like a big Lucha fan, or I want to be a wrestler when I grow up, which when I talk to most wrestlers, that's what they wanted to be since they were a kid. So I grew up in Miami, and it was another type of style. It was like Dory Funk versus Jack Briscoe, a lot of mat wrestling, really cool shit, real good storytelling. So I grew up on really good wrestling. Then all of a sudden, I saw a little bit of Mexican wrestling when the Olympic Auditorium, we would see it in Miami. It was actually Channel 23, which was the only Hispanic station in Miami, and they would show like wrestling from the Olympic Auditorium, and every now and then you'd see some luchadors there, right? But in 1988, I think it was, I went to my first lucha show in TJ, and I was completely mesmerized and blown away by what they were doing. I was like, wow, not only is this incredible, the crowd is super hot, and you get to wear a cool mask and a cape. Where do I sign up? So I was just like blown away. And then when I was watching like wrestling in the United States, I was always like, wow, this is kind of boring compared to Lucha Libre. And I remember when I first talked to Vince McMahon to do the Masked Moon gimmick, he thought I knew how to wrestle like American style, and I didn't. So he had and there's pictures. He had the like import guys from Mexico, Rambo, Love Machine, Damien 666. And there was one guy that knew how to base me for Lucha. He was a Southern California guy, Louis Spicoli, because he grew up in LA and there was a lot of lucha, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so like, I've always been like, even when Paul Lee first asked me, Paul Heyman, he was like, hey man, he goes, I've heard about, Eddie Guerrero and Love Machine. I want to bring them down. I go, would you recommend them? And we were on a trip to Singapore, and I was like, bro, those guys are fucking incredible. They're going to kill it. And then he was like, yeah, I've been hearing a lot about this Rey Mysterio. How good is he? I go, dude, with all due respect, he's going to go in there, and there is nobody like him in Psychosis. And so, he brought them over there. And the same day I could tell he was still in the arena, he called me up and he goes, man, I need to get them back next week. Can we work that out? And I go, yeah. So I was always pushing them no matter what. I just always believed in Lucha. I always believed in Rey. I always believed in Psychosis. I just thought it was a quicker, better, creative, more type of wrestling. So everywhere I went, I always recommended them. Changes are being made. And I think all those people leaving and me leaving, I think that was a huge wake-up call. Like, you don't know what you have until you lose it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
well, the one thing I was going to, sorry.
Go for it.
I was going to say, Phoenix, when he jumped from the crash on like the Sunday, he actually came to England. This is 2016 now. So it's like he came to England that next weekend.
Right.
And that was like the first time I went to watch wrestling after so many years of being away from it. And like, I was the only guy who knew him really. On the first night, he did 5 shows over 3 days. And I went up to him and was like, I bought a wonderful mask from him. But like, no one was going up to him to buy merch. And then he wrestled, and the whole place gave him a standing ovation. And you could see him getting up, the emotion, because it was a big risk, especially because he came to England and it was like, oh my God, have I made the right decision? And then the second day, he fought 3 matches, and he had Callahan. And after that one, he literally broke down in the ring in tears when they got standing ovation, and literally he couldn't keep merch. And it was just like, me and him had a big sweaty hug. But like, it was a case of like, and he was crying, and it was just like, yeah, I realized I've made the right decision to leave and push
Right,
because
right. They weren't
you can
sure
see it.
when you've had that security blanket for so long and you're not sure, what it's going to be like when you get out there. But when you're great everywhere because, I really didn't know how great Rey Mysterio or Eddie Guerrero or none of those guys were. I knew they were great, but I really found out when they came to the United States, like, wow, these guys aren't just good or great. They're fucking incredible. And Phoenix was the same way. I knew that anywhere he went, he was going to be great, because he's a special athlete.
Yeah. Can AEW use him and Penta and Jack and Angelico? Can they use these guys right? What do you think?
What a shame, bro. What a shame. All that fucking talent and, they have them doing stupid shit. I think there's going to come a point where, because here's a problem. They have so many people on that show that aren't TV ready. They should be on dark, and then once they, and right now they have a lot of inexperienced guys that are like learning on the job. And that's cool if it's the minority of your roster, because you can hide it with all the other guys that can work. But you've got guys that are TV ready, because we all know Jack can cut a promo. Kelly can cut a promo, and they can go, and Pentagon and Phoenix can go. It's almost like Ricochet. If you were to turn on WWE right now and you hadn't seen wrestling in 5 years, and somebody were to tell you, hey, see that guy in the ring? He's the next greatest high flyer after Rey Mysterio. The way he's being booked, you'd have no idea. If you told them this is one of the greatest tag teams in the world, Pentagon and Phoenix, from what they've done in AEW, you'd have no idea. Jack and Angelico, when was the last time they were even on Dynamite?
I don't know. Once in the past 3 months.
Right. And then my boys
I have to watch Dark just to see those guys ever.
Yeah, and then my boys LAX, they had this incredible match. First of all, the pretense is ridiculous. So they're fighting two guys who their mom brings to the show in a van, and they're 30 years old, and she's baking cookies for everybody. All right. So they, it's just ridiculous premise. And anyway, so they go out and they have this incredible street fight. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was it was fucking great. Oh, and then at the very end, they beat the fuck out of each other. Orange Cassidy comes out, and don't get me wrong, I understand that, there's something there, but I don't think as much as they think. But anyways, he opens up the trunk. He's got a chain wrapped around his fist. He fucking punches Santana, knocks him the fuck out. The other guy gets beat, and the mother flips them off. So this motherfucker just took everybody's heat, and so did the mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But they're not, to me, they're doing gimmicks that will get people into an indie show.
Right.
And they're not doing storylines that keep people invested in the characters and the TV show. Yeah. That's my problem. But that's just the mentality over there.
I really loved what you were doing with the old LAX and the new LAX angle.
Right before the Impact.
I thought that was great. And that the last match they had, the no mat in the ring match.
Yeah, that was good too. Yeah.
That was great.
And I'll say, look, Eddie Kingston, he entertains the shit out of me right now. And look, I don't even think he's necessarily doing anything special, but on that show, it looks special as hell.
Yeah, but the thing is, here's a problem I have with that whole thing. Look, and I'm not, bro, believe me. I'm not hating, I'm stating. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of friends in AEW, a lot. Okay. And so, but I get frustrated because I'm like, bro, there's people there that know how to do this. Why aren't you doing it right? So I'll give you an example. Butcher and Bunny and Blade or whatever, Butcher Blade, Pentagon Phoenix, and Eddie Kingston. You know what that feels like to me? It almost feels like, and I've seen it a million times because it's happened to me. All right. We don't really have anything to do with Pentagon and Phoenix. We don't really have anything to do. They're getting paid. A lot of fans are complaining that we don't do nothing with the Lucha Brothers. Eddie Kingston is hot. Let's just put them together. No rhyme, no reason, no nothing. Right. There's no fucking buildup. It's almost like, what's this guy's name? Lance Archer came in, they beat him immediately. Brody Lee came in, they beat him immediately. Brian came in, they beat him immediately. In any world that I'm in, should John Moxley be beating him with some armbar or whatever the fuck he beat him with. He should fucking pick him up with one arm and slam him. But anyways, so you beat all these guys, and now You've got to put the title on Brody Lee. Now you're having Lance. You're kind of like rehabilitating everybody because you didn't do it right the first time. You should have built these guys up, bro, and collide. But no, they chopped their knees right off. And so, you know, it's not easy, dude, because at the end of the day, you know, none of those guys, not Tony, not Cody, not Kenny, and not the Young Bucks, who would probably be the 5 guys that have something to do with writing, and Jericho. None of them have ever really booked that I know of. You know what I'm saying? So you've got, I don't know how many different opinions, because I can guarantee you they're not all agreeing on the same shit. And you can definitely see there's a little buddy system going in. These guys take care of these guys, and these guys take care of these guys. And so it's not easy, bro. You know what I'm saying? They're still kind of like in diapers when it comes to booking. So I kind of give them a pass on what I call sometimes bad booking.
Well, so what do they need? They need a you, or they need a Gerwitz, or they need that guy that can come in there and actually write the show, right?
Well, they have enough guys there, bro. Arn Anderson knows what the fuck's going on. Jericho knows what the fuck's going on. You know, get some of those guys in a room, and JR knows what the fuck's going on. I mean, yeah, you can say stuff like, okay, well, you know, what worked back then doesn't work now. Now is a different generation. That is true, but there's things that's going to work forever. So get those things that work from before and mix them in what you're doing now. And you got to they just have too many untrained people that aren't ready for TV, cutting promos and doing matches. And you can see the hole in their work, and the writing is not that tight. So, you know, it's just have logical, you know, it's almost like, bro, WWE does this a lot too. I'll give you an example. Andrade and Garza were fighting. They even had a fight in the backstage. Now all of a sudden they're tagging as if nothing ever happened. For some reason, they broke up the 2 Australian girls, who to me were money. And I was like, okay, why would you break them up if they're both green? Let them get better, and then you separate them like Sasha and Bailey. But you separate them, and then the blonde girl, I think, is Peyton. She had a match the other day, and you can just tell she's really green. But she broke up with her friend, the black-haired girl, Billy, I think is her name. And then they went into Raw Underground, and she actually threw her to the wolves and threw her into the Raw Underground thing. But the next week, they're friends again. Right. It's like, do you not follow your own storylines? Do you have a special show like DVD that I should be watching, some ancillary programming? Why don't you explain to me what the fuck is going on?
That show is so long, they don't know what the fuck they're doing with it anymore.
Yeah, but was this something I thought Disco brought up the other day about having someone like a continuity checker?
Right. Just have somebody check the whole thing. That's the writer's job. You shouldn't have somebody checking continuity. That's the writer's job. Like, I can guarantee you, when I'm writing something in AAA, this doesn't mean I'm the best, I'm the baddest, or I'm the greatest. Just, I always make sure that everything's making sense. Because if not, if you're watching a movie, you're like, okay, well, 1 minute he stabbed them, and now they're fucking having dinner. How did this happen? I mean, do you not, you know, I mean, are we just pretend it didn't happen? Is that the game now? I mean, I don't understand. You know, I'll suspend disbelief for you, but Jesus Christ, you know, make shit make sense, you know, because to tell you the truth, if I wasn't in this business, there's nothing that is as bad as wrestling that I'd continue to watch.
Right.
Something bad, I stopped watching it. You know, I watch it because I make money off of it, and I'm always looking for talent. I'm just kind of seeing what might work somewhere that maybe I can use, you know, but other than that, you know, it's not that interesting. I will say this, I do like the Roman and Jey Uso angle.
Love it, man. I like that whole pay-per-view, and WWE, they've got me right now. So just like you said, if it sucks, I'm not going to watch anymore. They got me for a minute. They better keep the ball rolling, because that was a good pay-per-view. That was hot. That ladder match was hot. The Roman thing, the way they played the end of that, and they let it play long too. I loved it. It was brutal.
Right.
You know,
Fiend with Alexa Bliss. I'm kind of digging that.
That's good too.
I'm kind of digging Sami Zayn. I'm kind of digging the Mysterio angle. You know, what is Aaliyah going to do? Is she going to go with Buddy Murphy? Is she going to tell fucking Ray to kick rocks? I mean, you know, so it's a little telenovela-ish.
Which I like. And I like what's going on there. Ray bringing in his kids. And, you know, Dominic, he showed up with Dominic a few times at Lucha Underground. Right. And I knew immediately myself, I was like, wow, I hope he doesn't try to bring Dominic up here. This is the wrong group of people. They're not going to protect him. He's not going to get the right training and love. There's not enough time. You know, these guys don't work in the ring enough because they're all out on the indies. And Dominic wasn't in a position where he could really be doing that. So I loved Ray taking him over to WWE and going back there and doing that thing with him. Like if he wants to put the crown on his son for a while, that feels like the right way to do it to me. There's been a lot of talk, and we talked about it a little bit on our show, even a lot of talk about if Dominic was getting, the benefit of the nepotism. But my take on it right now is that who gives a fuck? It's working. And he's working with these great guys that are protecting him and know what to do. And they're still making him pay his dues. He's just getting to do it at the top of the mid card, which is fortunate for him. But at the same time, it really seems like it's working. Like, did you think that this was going to work?
Let me tell you something about nepotism. And I want you to be honest. I'm going to start first with me and we'll work our way down. Do you think that Ray has enough power to tell Vince, hey, this is my son, put him in the main events?
No one can tell Vince anything.
How about you, Byron?
No, I don't think he could do that.
How about you, Jason?
I think that Ray is smart enough to ask the right questions, but not insist upon anything.
Yeah, bro, this was a total Vince call. He likes Dominic. He sees something in him, and he's made the call.
Mm-hmm. I mean, love it. Nepotism is all over the industry. I mean, you had Horace Boulder,
for sure.
CW. Yeah. He's cool in his own right, but he was there because he was someone's nephew or cousin or something. But I mean, above all else, I just love the fact that Ray gets to have the time with his son. There's a lot of missed time on the road. So I'm happy that they get to do this angle. They get to bring the whole family in. I mean, I think it's worth it just for that.
Well, and not only that, bro, you always want to see good things happening to good people. And Ray's this beautiful human being that as there is on this earth, and his son is cut from the same cloth. They're humble, beautiful, people, you know what I'm saying? And so I always want good things to happen to them.
And his daughter can act. Who knew? She was selling that great.
Acting lessons, that's why.
You can tell. She can actually act, which is rare on certain WWE programming these days.
Acts better than anybody on that roster, but she took acting lessons.
All right, Konnan, I got to tell you who I got heat with. I got heat with Hoovy.
Right.
This motherfucker. So, when Mad was a hot gimmick for a minute, and like we said, we supported Kevin Cross and we were loving that gimmick. And then Teddy came in, this, that, and the other thing. So I hit Hoovy up and I'm like, Hoovy, I need these Mad shirts. Cross says I got to get the Mad shirts from you. What's the fucking deal?
Right.
He jerked me around for this money on these Mad shirts forever. Never fucking got them. I ended up getting them from Jarrett or fucking Pro Wrestling Tees way after the fact. Right. So I've had heat with Hoovy for fucking ever. What the hell is going on? When did he get to be so goddamn flaky? Deep sigh.
I think when he went to WCW, and there's always, for some reason, I don't know why, because like I said, Ray's such a cool dude. There's always like a little bit of jealousy between Ray and Hoovy, but not from Ray to Hoovy, but from Hoovy to Ray. Like he told this story the other day, which I was like, yeah, there's no fucking way that happened. He said that Ray got mad because one day they both got off the bus and everybody recognized Hoovy, but not Ray. And Ray felt slighted. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, there's no place on earth where you and Ray together and they're going to notice you and not Ray, and vice versa. There's no place where they're going to notice Ray and not you. So why would you bury Ray like that? And he was always really mad because there was one time when Ray got hurt. I think he went to get surgery and he wanted the belt and they didn't want to give him the belt. They were like, no, we're going to wait till Ray comes back. And he was complaining, well, he's hurt. Just give it to me. And I was like, Hoovy, don't do that shit, bro. Don't fucking fuck. We're supposed to be a family and be united. Don't bury fucking Ray, you jackass. And I think bro, I've never, ever, ever, ever seen Ray get mad at anybody. The only time I ever saw him get mad at anybody was Juventud, and it was epic. We were in Philadelphia. In WCW, and we were in catering. And Ray actually told him this. He goes, after the match, come to my room. And if you come to my room and you knock on the door, I'm going to beat your fucking ass. And I was like, yes. And he didn't go to the room. Yeah. So, he's just a guy that he's oblivious to his heat. He's oblivious. When I would tell him stuff, I go, bro, the guys don't want to work with you. They're complaining that you're eating their lunch, that you're not selling. And he would go, oh, they're just jealous. And I go, no, they're not jealous. They're fucking, you know what I'm saying? He won't ever accept any responsibility, any accountability. When I first came back, I was so happy because I was finally going to be able to do like my first Triple Mania with nobody putting their hands in, right? And there was a match. It was Juventud and Teddy, and maybe the other guy was Jack. I think it was Juventud, Teddy, and Jack, and it was against Averno, Chessman, and Superfly. Okay.
Yeah.
And the match was so bad that the people were booing. Okay. So there was already heat coming into the match, which I didn't know till after, because when I talked to Verno, he was the only guy that told me the truth. He goes, well, we went to work out the match like you asked us to, and Juventud kept saying, is that Konnan said you have to do this, and Konnan said you have to do this, and then I was like, I never said that. He goes, well, we thought you didn't, and he kept telling us that we had to do it, and he was very condescending. And I was like, fuck. So this guy came into the match and he wasn't selling nothing, and they weren't selling anything, and they were potatoing each other, and they were struggling. And I remember that we sat down a couple days later, and we had this big meeting, and Dorian goes, this show would have been a 10 if it wasn't for two things. He goes, the Juventud match and Phoenix flying into my mom. And I was like,
yeah. I forgot about that.
I remember in that match, someone tried to shoot on Jack too a little bit, and Jack took him down. I forgot which one.
Chessman.
Yeah. And Jack really had he didn't even know what was going on. Everybody was fighting because of fucking. And then here's the other thing. So then I talked to Dorian, and Dorian goes, well, I'm gonna bring them both into my office, and I'm gonna talk to both of them, and depending on their attitude, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. So I call Juventud and I go, bro, there's going to be a meeting, go in there, be respectful, own up to anything that you did, so fucking Dorian called me back and he goes, Averno stays, Juventud's out of the promotion. And I was like, this guy must have fucked it up somehow as usual, And I was like, well, what happened, Dorian? He goes, well, he came in here. He didn't want to accept any of the blame. He kept putting the blame on Averno. At least Averno said, yeah, I was wrong for doing this, and this. Juventud would take no blame. He was actually offended. And I go, fuck that guy. And so then, he went around telling everybody, yeah, Konnan set me up so they would beat me up. I'm like, what? And like, you wanted me to look bad in the match. I go, think of what you're saying, jackass. I'm going to look bad because that match came out bad. You know what I'm saying? Why would I want to sabotage my own match?
And that was your first big Triple Mania too, right?
You're a fucking idiot. Yeah.
Well, the rest of that card was very good. I appreciated it. And honestly, even watching that match be a clusterfuck was kind of entertaining for me, but that was just because we could tell like, oh shit, this ain't right at all.
Right. Something's going down.
Yeah. It was a very interesting match.
I wanted to
and it was, and let me tell you what's a funny thing, just so talking about Hoovy. So today on AAA, they're showing like they've been putting flashbacks of matches. And there was a match from 2012. They showed it today. They just showed like a little trailer of it. And it's like Jack, Phoenix, Daga, Leader, and Juventud. Okay. And I'm looking at the match and immediately I remember what happened. Bro, he had so much heat with Leader because he refused to take any bumps from Leader. Okay. But he wanted Leader to take all these crazy fucking bumps, So we did something where we got him out of the match really quick so he wouldn't be a pain in the ass. And then we took the belt off of him. So he's always been a pain in the ass, bro.
Yeah. Well, speaking of belts, I wanted to ask you, as a booker, how are you handling your top belt being stuck in another promotion right now?
Yeah, there's nothing you can do right now because we're not even running shows. But it's funny because they like Omega so much in Mexico that, how it's called the Mega Championship? They call it the Omega Championship. And bro, they treat him like I'm not kidding, like a rock star. When he wrestled Dragon Lee in Monterrey, listen to the crowd noise. They were chanting his name and he was like, he's like and then he had a great match with fucking Phoenix. I think his next match is going to be with Laredo, but he's very easy to work with. Really cool guy, very special. And they absolutely love him in Mexico. Like they get him, but like what we do over there, we just put him in long, like Japanese type match where he can tell a story and really show his athletic ability and his charisma and all that,
Oh, that's great. Have
Go
you
ahead,
tried,
man.
have you tried to get your belt on AEW since he's the champ?
Well, one time they did. He defended him against, who was it? He did it once on Dark, and it might have been against Jack. And he did it once on Dynamite. I forgot against who it was because he actually texted me. He goes, "Oh, I'm going to put on TV." And I always tell him, "Well, you should do that more." But for some reason, they haven't really had too much, because at the beginning they wanted Laredo, but Laredo went on a reality show, and I actually think they got hot, and they wanted Hijo de Vikingo, and wanted Taurus. They've never called me about it. I know one time they brought Fabi Apache in for one match, and she was in the ring like 5 fucking seconds. And I told them, I go, "Bro, Fabi can go. She's a pain in the ass, but she can go. Anybody you put in there, anybody, she can run circles. No disrespect around Sheeta, and who's her best worker?
I think
Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa, somebody from another promotion.
That's right. Thunder Rosa is an NWA. That girl has improved a lot because I remember when I saw in Lucha Underground, they were complaining about her for getting her lines and all these moves. And then I used her Nero Lucha. And I remember watching her and going, she's still kind of green. But this is like 3 years ago. Yeah. And wow, when I saw her now on fucking, I had actually seen her on NWO Pro because I liked that show. And I saw her there and she was fucking awesome, bro. She's awesome.
No, she stepped it up. I'm good friends with Mel, and she's only been wrestling really for about 5 years. Started maybe training 6 years ago at max, and been wrestling really for 5.
And she looks like a star. And here's another thing about her. Very few girls have a cool factor, and she has it. There's a coolness to her. And but Fabi, with all due respect, will run circles around her.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Fabi's got that generalship in there that takes a long time to get, and she's got it for all the right reasons.
She was in the ring like 10 seconds or I don't know, a minute. I was like, you flew her down there for that?
Yeah. I mean, it was funny to me because, I've known Thunder Rosa for a long time, and it was like, I can't believe that she came in out of NWA and really kind of exposed all of AEW. Her storyline was better because she's this first Mexican female NWA champion. She's the one coming in from the outside. It was like her storyline mattered more than everything else they were doing, and all these other wrestlers that have been around 10, 15 years. Like that just exposed the business the wrong way to me to a certain extent. Like I wanted to see her get that shine, but at the same time, like, Jesus, guys, what are you doing that this outside story makes more sense than what you're building at home?
And bro, and to add on to that, because we had Nick Aldis on the other day, but I didn't ask him this. Who was writing NWA? Corrigan and Lagana?
Lagana was before he...
Very good story. Very good storytelling.
I love that show.
Very good storytelling. That show is very good because I've never really been a big Melina fan, but I was actually interested in her storyline. Like they did a good job. Everybody, bro, they had great talkers, Eli Drake and fucking James Storm and Eddie Kingston and the fucking Zeke Deaky or whatever the fuck his name was, and Ricky Starks and and the question mark guy, Karatai, and all that shit. I was like, wow, everybody here can talk. And it looks like the wrestling I grew up on, like that Superstation shit with all the flags, the studio audience. And I like
it's fun. And no mark out crowd either. It was like an old school kind of crowd. Like the whole thing about NWA Power was very, very fun, and I have a lot of friends that were watching it and that were going to tapings that they feel about NWA Power the way that we felt about Lucha Underground. Like they're taking a different level of ownership and like staking their claim as fans. This is our shit. We want it to go this way. And, that was one of the things that was cool about Lucha. And I wish you had been there longer because as fans, I feel like we did start to get a little more of a say and we became a character in the show the same way when I was going to ECW back when I was 17 years old in Philly. Right. That audience was a character in that promotion. Right. When all those chairs come into the fucking ring.
Right.
That's the extra character talking.
And part of the beauty of Lucha Underground was that crazy rabid fan base, that gave the wrestlers that energy, and they were like, wow, man, they really like what we're doing, because a lot of them weren't doing shit. That's why they were all signed to those fucking ridiculous 7-year deals. I was like, who the fuck signed 7-year deals, But back then, nobody knew Evelise. Nobody really knew Sexy Star. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? They really didn't know any of these people. So, and they weren't really doing anything, and they fucking signed their, it wasn't even 7 years, it was 7 seasons. That shit could have taken 50 years,
Well, and sometimes they could turn them around fast, but the way the TV business worked with El Rey and Univision getting involved, and boy, I could tell you weird stories about the behind the scenes on that shit, where it went in seasons 3 and 4, especially. It got, being a TV producer myself, that shit was sideways, bro. It was bad business for a lot of people.
Don't blue ball the audience. What are you talking about?
No, I mean, like, look, the parent company really wanted them to do certain things with those contracts and the cost cutting and taking the show to different places. And I know that some of those things have been suggested from season 1, but it's bad business in the middle of a season to put a show on hiatus when it's on a roll.
Right.
And that really killed the business. It's bad business not to announce renewals of a show and then bring it back at the last minute and expect anybody to give a fuck. That's not the way the TV business works. If you look at Netflix, man, the second they know something is hot, you look in that box and it will say, man, season 2 is coming before they've even started going into production. Like the second they know that they're going to be able to make some money off of it.
You would think somebody like Van Wagenen, who worked on Survivor and Celebrity Apprentice, would have that type of shit down.
He did. He honestly did. And it was a lot of the other factors that came into it that really didn't. And it was not even just El Rey, because, Skip was in charge of a lot of the stuff at El Rey, and he wanted to push forward or, cut it clean right then and there. But, part of the problem was they were trying to employ people with these contracts that didn't make sense, that were like TV contracts. They're TV actor contracts for wrestlers, but they're precluding them from doing other stuff. If you're a TV actor and your show's on hiatus, guess what? You get to go and film a movie. You get to film another TV show. And they couldn't. And it was like, either they're going to be on a TV contract and they can go perform elsewhere, or you got to treat it like a wrestling contract and keep them as a real promotion and then give them fucking work. Give them fucking merchandise.
Wasn't it illegal in LA? Wasn't a lot of the stuff that was in the contracts actually illegal in LA law where it was signed?
Not really, but I mean, the whole thing is, look, you sign a contract. The only way to find out if it's illegal is to spend a bunch of cheddar to go and fight that contract.
Right.
Like these wrestlers that are barely making shit on these contracts and can't even go out and work other TV.
And that was the worst part. They knew that and they exploited that.
And it wasn't until season 4 when 3, 4, 5 people started getting together to try to get out of their contracts that anybody found out what the actual legalities there were with Phantasma and even Thunder Rosa and all those guys. And there was no animosity there. They just wanted to fucking work.
Right.
But I mean, you get this stuff. I'm preaching to the choir.
Vogelman told me that for a while he wasn't even talking with the people from MGM. So there was some sort of rift between MGM and,
there was a lot of chefs in that kitchen. I think it's part of what made Lucha Underground great and part of what made it fall apart at the end. Like, you needed all those chefs. You needed the combination of this Rodriguez style of making television shows, like Dusk Till Dawn and his shit. And you needed Burnett and his ability to get the ground floor going. You needed guys like you and Chavo that knew the business and knew the history and could bring some of the WWE style in, and you could bring the Lucha Libre stuff in. You needed Dorian Roldan in there who wanted to impress people, who wanted to bring his IP to some place where it could make a difference and break into the US market. You needed Fogelman, who's a fucking prick, to come in there and just be a hard ass and make people get the damn job done. He was wrong about how to do a lot of it, but just like Vince sometimes, or any of those guys, you need a guy in there. And maybe that's what AEW is lacking. Tony Khan's a nice guy. He's not a prick, and maybe he should be.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
But I want to say this to you. First of all, thank you for coming out and doing this. This is amazing. We've been wanting to talk to you for a while. We want to talk to everybody about Lucha Underground because it's something that was special to us, and the different portions of the show carried different weight to us. You were a very big part of getting it going. You were a very big part of that locker room. All the performers, all the workers that we talked to, and everybody knows the lasting impact that you've had on that show and Lucha Libre in America, period. Like, Lucha Libre in America isn't even a thing without you, bro. It just isn't. And it's that simple, and we appreciate you for doing this. And I want to know what your thoughts are on the legacy of what Lucha Underground is going to leave wrestling, kind of like what ECW was. Is Lucha Underground going to leave a lasting legacy in the wrestling business here in America?
Well, I think it's it will, because it'll be looked back as the first promotion that Lucha Libre wasn't an appetizer or the dessert. It was the main course and everything else. It was a party, the after party and the after party. Everything was Lucha. You know what I'm saying? It's a shame to me that, it was mismanaged, because look at all the talent that came out of there, bro. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. And so another thing that came out of there, which, we've seen it influence a little bit the other promotions, is that cinema approach to it, right? It was good that we had people because almost everybody that's in the wrestling industry in positions of power have always been people that worked in another company. So they've always kind of been inside of the wrestling bubble. So you needed to work with somebody that wasn't in the wrestling bubble to think outside the box, and so they really thought outside of the box with the way they, that was filmed. There, I guarantee you they don't have anybody like Skip in any fucking other promotion. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that's, lasting. And also that Lucha Libre is something that wasn't just for Mexicans. Everybody could enjoy it, and I've always made this this comparison, and it's worth mentioning again. To me, Lucha Libre has a lot of parallels with hip hop, right? So hip hop starts in New York, mostly a Black and Latino thing. Fast forward 2020, we've got white rappers, British rappers, we have gangster rap, we have happy rap, we have nerd rap, we have all these genres of fucking rap, and rap actually is now pop. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how big it is. All right. So you look at Lucha Libre, and when it first started, it was all Mexicans, and the only people that did it were Mexican and watch it were Mexicans. And now you look at it in 2020, it's a global phenomena, where you have promotions in Japan and, in England and all over the place that just do lucha, and you don't have to explain to people anymore what Lucha Libre is. Like I remember back when I was with Antonio Pena and we were trying to talk to American investors, about Lucha Libre, and they were like, "Oh, is that thing with Hulk Hogan?" No, it's not with Hulk Hogan. I'd show it to them. What the hell's going on? But now you say lucha and everybody knows what the fuck it is. That's incredible, because I went to Canada. Listen to this. So I went to Canada in like 1989 or 1990. Okay. Nobody knew how to do Lucha Libre there. And nobody knew who I was or anything like that. And then like in 2017 or something like that, Teddy Hart threw a big show in Calgary, like Brian Cage was on, the Young Bucks on. It was this guy that Sami Zayn, what was his name? Generico?
Generico back then, yeah. Yeah,
he was in it. It was a whole bunch of people. It was a really big show. And so they were like, yeah, here's a guy that, started here in Calgary and he's behind Lucha. And when I came out, everybody was chanting Lucha, Lucha. Like they knew me as the Lucha guy. And I was like, wow, I've been promoting it for so long and advertising it and advocating it and recommending people. And wow, people finally see what I saw, and you guys have seen what I saw, So, it's just really cool to be able to share that with you guys. And you guys are such passionate fans. And yeah, I think the legacy is, a lot of great stars were cultivated there. The cinema approach to doing, wrestling. And that for once it got the respect that it deserved, being the main event, the appetizer, dessert, everything. It wasn't just a fucking, you know what I'm saying? The olive in the martini anymore.
I hope that Glenn listens to this interview and he gets a newfound appreciation for this shit. Son of a bitch.
He will. And the worst, wait, here's the worst part. If you look at his record against luchadors, it's like 19-0 or something like that.
I think Glenn is a little bitter because he couldn't get his invisible wrestler gimmick on TV.
Yes,
and now Lucha Underground had like dragons and a guy who could travel through time.
Yes, that could be part of it. But let me ask you guys one question before I get out of here. Yeah. Well, two questions. Meef, question 1 and 2. Do you think there's any chance that any iteration ever of Lucha Underground comes back? And give me your 3 favorite characters on Lucha Underground.
There's a way it can come back on the rights and everything like that, and certain things coming to pass. favorite characters, obviously Cuerno, because I loved the way he changed his entire body and the way he moved in the ring, and the psychology of that character was fantastic. And I personally would put him more in a Predator, kind of taking people's masks or hair throughout the series. Phoenix was obviously wonderful, and when he transitioned into the Dark Phoenix character, was even better.
Zombie Phoenix.
Yeah.
That was the best.
And third, I really enjoyed Marty the Moth.
Marty the Moth. Now, do you watch AAA?
Yeah.
Okay, give me your 3 favorite male, female, minis, exoticos, anything characters on AAA.
Well, I love Nino Hamburguesa because he's like me.
Tremendous. Yes, he's tremendous. Yes.
Vikingo, because Vikingo's just like taking fucking cocaine and coffee at the same time.
Yeah, he's fucking ridiculous.
I'm going to second that. Vikingo's
absolutely
top of my list.
I've really enjoyed seeing Aramis.
Oh, he's very good too. Yeah, you'll see more of him. Brian, same question. Do you see Lucha Underground ever coming back? And favorite characters, Lucha Underground and AAA?
I think, I mean, if all the business deals come through, I think the show and its format can come back, but the details, the players in it are going to have to be different. My favorite people on the show has to be number 1, Pentagon. He was just the coolest motherfucker from day one. I remember Casey, who's also on our show. We were like in the bleachers screaming our heads off, like Cerro Miedo and all that stuff when he was doing a I Quit match against Sexy Star, and everyone else is cheering for her, and we're booing her as hard as we can. He was just the best. Mil Muertes as well. And I mean, after that, it's kind of a toss-up. But I mean, I loved the Rabbit Tribe. I thought they were
the Rabbit Tribe. That might have been when I left.
Oh yeah, so it had London, it had Mariachi Loco, Cholo, in different get-ups. It had
rabbits.
They were like
Alice
in Wonderland kind of characters, like trippy, always kind of drugged out shit. And basically, they had brought Paul London in almost to be an agent when you left that void, I think. You know, so London was in there, and then he's
a good guy.
Working
London's
gimmicks.
a good guy. He's a very good guy, and he's talented. He did this gimmick once, right before he came back to Lucha Underground. I went to an indie show here in San Diego, and I love to just go to shows and just feel the energy and see what's coming up. You know, what's new coming up. He did this gimmick where he came out dressed up like a spaceman, okay? And he literally shook every person's hand in the audience before he got into the ring. There were like 100 people there. It was so fucking ridiculous that it was funny. You know, it was fucking hilarious.
I think he called into our show one time, like 10 minutes before he had his match at Hood Slam.
Yeah, probably. He's a very eccentric guy, but I love that guy. Well, how about you, Jason? Oh, Justin. Let me ask you, Byron.
Justin. Yes, sir.
Justin, my bad. No, I am high. Byron, who would your favorite in AAA? Do you watch AAA or no?
I watch it off and on, so I'm not the best with names, but I have to second Vikingo. He's one of those guys where you when you see the glimpses of what he's doing, like you're getting like 10%. You know, there's so much more, and it's like every time there's a company in America like AEW is hiring, they have an agreement with AAA. He's going to show up on TV, and he doesn't, but hopefully he does soon. And there's other guys, but I mean, I'm not the best with names.
All right. How about you, Jason? My bad.
Justin.
Oh, Justin.
Good.
He's been called.
I'm gonna go in reverse order.
Yeah.
The AAA guys, I'm loving Vikingo like everyone. I'm a big fan of Taurus also. And Drago has been one of my favorites for ages. That was one of the things, like when I first heard about Lucha Underground happening, I wanted Drago to be there.
What a cool character, right?
Yeah, and I just thought that, like, oh my God, if you can bring Drago into a Robert Rodriguez kind of world, what the fuck is that going to be like? That was one of the reasons why I showed up on day one.
Also very cool of him. Do you remember he did it in season 1 because he was doing it in Mexico. And I said, bro, you got to bring it to the United States. When he was coming on those big fucking wings, how cool did that look?
Yeah.
The first one I got to, the first taping I actually got to go to was the return of Drago in season 1. And like just blew my mind, man. That was when I was 100% all in. I had been watching, but I got to go to that taping, and then I started coming to tapings all the time whenever I wasn't on the road, you know. But for you know, AAA wrestlers and Phoenix, you know, too. You know, I still consider him a AAA wrestler. I don't know what he's going to do, but I consider him one of the best that you can get down there. For Lucha Underground, that's a little tougher for me. I think Phoenix overall for the entire arc of all 4 seasons probably now is my overall favorite, followed very closely by Pentagon probably. I loved seeing the progression of Thunder Rosa or Cobra Moon, whatever her character was, and of course Cross, who had a very short run on actual camera, but his dark matches even were just fire. And I love some of that stuff too. And believe it or not, I really liked a lot of Tejano's stuff in Lucha Underground too. There was some stuff that he started doing later where he just started coming with this just crazy, stiff, crisp ring work, and he was running the ropes hard, and he was doing shit that he wasn't even doing in Mexico. And I was just like, what? Where the fuck did this Tejano come from? Yeah. Some of that stuff in like the middle portion of his run in Lucha Underground, I absolutely loved.
All right.
And
good.
I will say this. I think that Lucha Underground can come back. There is a way, but what it takes at this point is certain chefs have to get out of that kitchen. Certain contracts have to lapse, especially the one with El Rey. I don't think you'll ever see it on El Rey Network again. I just think that business proposition isn't going to work for the Dorian and the LLC and the people who hold the IP, nor is it going to work for MGM. I think the only way it comes back is if Dorian sits down at the table with the MGM guys after the El Rey, option on the TV contract is up, and they come to an agreement that they all would like to continue using that IP, and then MGM finds a good outlet for that, whether it's on their own network like Epix or they find another good home for it or something, then you could see Lucha Underground come back. Only if that happens will you ever see it under that particular IP. You'll see these characters, I think, some of these other things, or somebody might buy out portions of it at some point in time. But if you want the real Lucha Underground in some form or fashion, I think that's the only way it happens.
All right. And let me ask you one other question. What would you give from an A to an F grade to the writing of the show?
Of Lucha Underground?
Yep.
I can't give it an A because I would say ECW in 96 and 97 is my A plus for me.
Right.
I would give it overall, barring some of the ugliness of season 4, I would give it a B plus, A minus, somewhere in there.
Okay. You, Byron?
Yeah, I would. I mean, season 4, season 4, I think was like, and maybe some of it wasn't their fault, but I think season 4 itself was probably C minus, but the rest of it, B plus, A minus.
No. What was season? Is that one that you had the whitening?
Yes.
It's when, when, because of circumstances, they couldn't bring in foreign talent. So you lost, you lost people, and then you couldn't bring in people that they were expecting to bring in. And so,
they shot the whole thing in a month's period of time. So guys like AR Fox, he got injured the first, before they started, so they couldn't use him on TV the whole time. They couldn't get visas quickly enough because Trump changed the laws on how you could get them. Everybody could get work visas, but not fast enough. And it's only, shooting 4 weekends in a row for the whole season.
Yeah.
So, it just caused so many issues. Chris Roach was also not with DJ helping him right at the beginning because it was in the middle of Big Brother Celebrity Edition or some shit. So his main writing partner wasn't there to help him flesh out the storylines for who couldn't show up. So Chris DeJoseph was doing it all by himself.
Right.
And the high points of seasons 2 and 3 were, those two guys coming together with their zany ideas and figuring out how to make it work with the Lucha Libre and Chavo getting his shit in. And that was probably the height of what they were doing writing wise. They didn't do that in season 4. They couldn't. It just didn't come together in season 4.
Now, let me ask you, Beef, what grade would you give the writing?
C minus.
C
Because
minus.
I came to the show for the Aztec and the Mexican lucha culture,
Right.
and that got like dumped halfway through season 2, really, and then season 3 was completely ignored.
I'm laughing because I know it got replaced with hot shit like AR Fox in that Hell of War
Yeah,
match.
but
You're not hit with that, but I'm down with that shit.
I wanted the Aztec thing playing out. I wanted the gods coming in because I'm obsessed with Quetzalcoatl and Mixcoatl and all those kind of guys.
You got the gods. It was Wade Barrett all along, man. It was Wade Barrett.
Yeah, it was an English dude.
Yeah, but like
multi-suicide in an ill-fitting suit.
Is that who it was?
He was the limo driver guy.
You had like Aussie Suicide, you had Wade Barrett, you had Jack Swagger, like all these guys. Cross was one of them.
Now, let me ask you a question. At that time, were fans complaining about that or no?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, especially the Mexican
on fire.
Fans. Man, I was at those tapings, and even while it was happening, man, like the real Latino and Mexican fans were they would grab me and be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is this happening? This is some bullshit. When like Drago was getting squashed by Jack Swagger and shit like that,
it would stop, or they'd leave it.
They had Jack Swagger beat 2 Mexican guys in a one match.
So let me ask you a question. When people were telling him shit like on social media, what would they say back?
Well, but that was part of the problem. There was no instant response because Lucha Underground was taped. That shit didn't air until 3 months later. Right. There was no break. There wasn't a long enough period of time for that fourth season either. So we even had Chris Roach on the show, and we explained it to him what happened, and it was like news to him. Yeah, it was shocking him. He was like, I mean, and Chris Roach is the most liberal guy you will ever meet in your life. Yeah. And he was like, oh my God, what do you mean I did something racist? There was like, we're like, it's not even necessarily racist, but you guys don't understand. Like, you squashed the culture of Lucha Libre in that last season.
Right.
You know? And he was shocked.
Which is part of the lore.
Yeah. And for as much as Lucha Underground like reinvigorated that passion in a lot of the fans of Lucha Libre, especially in Los Angeles, the ones who could go to the tapings, you saw that. Like, it's like telling a kid that Santa Claus isn't real. You know, it's like it got squashed in them. And they're like,
you know what I almost feel like it was? I know you want to say something, Meef, but let me throw this in. I almost feel like it was like Mexicans were finally something that we're being represented in an honorable way, and they're taking our history into account, and they're doing it in a beautiful way using Mexicans and raza right here in LA and Boyle Heights. And then they were like, oh fuck, it's being, you know, Americanized or pasteurized or sanitized or whatever word you want to use. But what were you gonna say, Meef?
I was literally all it was missing was a fucking conquistador.
Right.
By the end, I was like. Because like I said, I was in for the like Aztec and like Mexican culture, and how like, you know, that's something I love.
Very beautiful culture.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Like with all wrestling, I believe, and I genuinely believe this from these writers and from Van Wagen and these other guys who are running the show, they would have turned it around because wrestling is an industry built on that feedback. They're not stupid guys. Right. They weren't trying to disregard it on purpose. Right. But once you tell them, they're going to go and fix it. They want the show to be hot. They want the crowd to pop. They want those Latino fans. They want that street credibility. I think they would have totally fixed it, but the business model was too broken to have a chance because they're not doing live TV. They're not touring. They're not out doing house shows. There's no live feedback.
Right.
No merch.
And so, and you're right, because that's one thing they were good at. They were good at like fixing shit when they realized it was bad. Like, I'll give you an example. Were any of you there the first day of taping season 1?
No. Like,
bro, it was hot as a motherfucker. It was hotter than hell, and they didn't let kids come in. Right. And I was like, bro, you got to let kids in. That's like our biggest fans, you know, and they fixed that immediately. And they started bringing kids in. I don't know if they brought fans in there or air conditioners or what. What did they have something in there at the end?
They got 8 air conditioners installed.
Oh, holy shit. That first week was murder. Bro, imagine that place. Imagine this. Imagine that place in the summer with no air conditioning.
I mean, we were there a few times when it was pretty damn bad, but they did do some stuff to try to fix it eventually.
Yeah. And they always have a really good catering. So I'll put them over for that. And they did give me a per diem. I'll put them over for that. You know, I had a good time, bro. I try to remember Huh? Yeah, very nice hotel. I try to remember the good stuff, but I always like to throw in everything, the good and the bad, so everybody gets a complete picture. Because
we appreciate that too, and we know a lot of that locker room personally. And honest to God, they don't have a lot of bad stuff to say about you, man. They really still love and appreciate for what you brought, and a lot of them wish you had stayed around, to protect them or to give it to them straight or to help build the show. A lot of those guys missed your presence when it was gone.
And that's cool to hear, man. But I was having a meltdown just watching. I just was like, "Wow, really, dude? Like, I'm telling you." And so I just
watching the car crash coming.
Well, the bad thing is that I myself became very difficult to work with, and I became very disrespectful. And I think they were like, "Fuck this guy." We're paying him, and he's telling us to get fucked. Now you get fucked. And that's basically what happened.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and shooting straight with us about it. This is what Expo Lucha is all about for everyone who is watching today, that there's a lot more great stuff to come right here on expolucha.com. Thank you guys all for joining us. Appreciate having you here, Konnan. Be sure to listen to our show every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Mass Mats and Mayhem. Go ahead.
Real quick, let me put over AAA's coming back. We're going to be taping pretty soon, so you can check that out. But more importantly than that, check out my podcast, Keeping It 100. It's on Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, all the platforms. We chop it up with some politics, sports, current events, wrestling. We do wrestling watch-alongs, reviews. A friend of the show, and maybe, I don't know if you could call him your boss, but Kevin Kleinrock, he's got the Mass Republic Minute where we talk about Lucha Libre every week.
We call him our overlord.
Yes, but you guys were burying him for something once. What did he do?
Oh, man, look.
We bury him every week.
Didn't he do?
We bury him and JoJo Feeney all the time. JoJo was supposed to give us some love on your show, cut it out, put it only on the Patreon, which is cool, but at the same time, like, fuck JoJo for doing that. But then JoJo was supposed to make it up for us. He was trying to help us out with a sponsor and this other stuff, and him and Kleinrock making these big promises. Still haven't seen this shit. Still haven't seen it.
Well, they're a product of the business, never always tell them yes, but never when, right? The checks in the mail, all that. But just know this, whenever referring to Joe in person or on social media, please, Meatloaf and Byron and Jason or Justin, I'm not sure anymore, please use the most vile and vehement language when speaking.
That's how I speak usually, so we'll be good with that.
We're right in the same lane, Meef.
All right, Meef. So this is how we're going to close it out. You have to give Konnan some of your expletives in that lovely British accent of yours, because this is your trademark now. Let's hear it,
Cunt
Meef.
is the classic. Cunt is the classic. Twat. Prick.
Right.
Bastard. Right. Well, you're going to say bastard like Sean Bean.
Right. When I hear this a lot, because my wife's Australian, do you use this word, wanker?
Yes, wanker.
Okay. I hear that a lot. Yeah.
What is a bell end? I don't know what that is.
It is the end of your penis, but also a person who's an idiot.
I have a question about slang. What does peel my potatoes mean?
Well, basically what it was is, you know what toss my salad means, right?
I've been told.
All right.
Byron's familiar, I'm sure.
All right. Yeah, maybe a willing or unwilling participant. But anyways, so I used to go on WCW, and I used to always say, there's French, there's creamy, there's ranch, there's Italian. Pick one of them, because tonight you're going to bow down and toss my salad and peel my potatoes. Now, peel my potatoes sounds kind of disgusting, but it's just something I made up because it kind of sounds like something perverted or something sexual. And I remember one time Eric Bischoff came up to me and he was like, standards and practices says that you cannot say toss my salad or peel my potatoes. I go, wait a minute. I go, the first one, I'll give it to you. But the second one I just made up. He goes, well, you made it up so good that you can't say it. So,
nice. You got it over.
Oh man. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. One day when I'm in LA, you guys are in LA. Well, you're in England, right?
I was going to say bring AAA to England and I'll be very happy.
Bro, never know. You're where, Byron?
I'm Los Angeles based.
Just say Los Angeles. He moves around. I move around. We make towns when we can to make our TV shows, doing reality shit. But look, if you need producers, whenever you get another American Lucha Libre thing going,
What do you do? Like, what do you do?
Oh, we're reality producers. I'm a supervising producer. Done a bunch of shows. Got a Netflix show coming up soon that I can't talk about yet.
Yeah.
All right.
I've done a lot of fun stuff.
I just done there's
And I worked on NFL. I worked at the NFL last year too. My fantasy season, however, is going down the fucking tubes already.
Why? Who's your running back?
Oh my God. I did not have Christian McCaffrey who went out, but I had what did I have? Mac. That was a nightmare for me.
Right.
And now I'm running Fournette instead and Kenyon Drake. Kenyon's been great, but Fournette's been, spotty at best.
You know who Disco's is? You know who Disco's running back is?
Emmitt Smith.
Kamara.
Oh yeah, Kamara lit it up this week too.
He went nuts. Yes. Byron, were you going to say something?
Oh no, I was just going to bring up how on the shows that I do, I had the Headbangers on as a cameo when I was doing the Vanilla Ice project.
How was that? The Vanilla Ice project?
It was a lot of fun. It was insane. It was like Jackass meets HDTV. So, like, for instance, let's say you're gonna, let's say you're going to on the second floor of a building. Which, by the way, we always built the stairs last. So I'm like slinging a camera with a strap over my shoulder, climbing scaffolding to go up and film with them. And then they're like, okay, so we poured a wall, we put a foam insert where the window's going to go, and we need to knock it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour diesel fuel all over it, get on fire, and then hit it with sledgehammers. And that's how we built the house.
But what does Vanilla Ice do?
That's a good question.
That's what he did. He does all that stuff. He comes up with all the ideas.
How is he to work with?
He's great. He's very passionate, and
because I saw him on a show once, and it might have been one of those like reality shows, like
yes.
What was that show where Six Pac almost got into a fight with the Brat?
Yeah, he did one of those sort of like Big Brother.
It was the VH1 celebrity rehab thingy, whatever. What was it called?
Something like that, right? I saw him on one of those type of shows, and it was really funny because he was in this like like a bar, right? Yeah. And bro, everybody knows him from My Size Baby, and everybody's like, "Yeah, sing it." And he was like, "No, I don't like to sing that. I don't want to sing it anymore." And everybody's like, "Come on, sing!" And then finally, at the end, he sang it. But you could tell that he couldn't really understand the effect that it had on all these people. And when he saw them singing with him, because it's almost like wrestlers when they tell me, "Oh, I want a podcast and I want to talk about wrestling." Hey, motherfucker, people don't want to hear your tape. If I meet Dale Earnhardt, I want to talk car racing. I want to talk about some other shit.
No, he's great. He's super great with his fans, and he's totally on board with all of that too. And he totally gets what it means to the fans and people of all generations. Also, we
took him to Lucha Underground once. He had a blast.
I brought him out to Lucha Underground. He loves wrestling.
Bro, if you've never seen Lucha, how could you not love it, right?
Yeah.
Right. You know what Van Wagenen told me? He told me that Trump, because he did the Celebrity Apprentice, was like a big germaphobe.
Mm-hmm. Very much.
Yeah.
I've heard Van Wagenen say that too, that Trump was really weird about touching people's hands. And it's like, oh, too bad your job is to shake hands and kiss babies now. Sorry about your damn luck.
I don't know if I'd touch his hand.
I'm going to watch that debate tomorrow. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for having me on, bro. And if you want to have me on in the future, I'm down. And like I said, and I will repeat this again, only violent vehement language when referring to Kevin Kleinrock or Jojo Feeney.
Done deal.
Lucha-masks.com, in partnership with Mask Republic, give you personal protective masks to keep you Lucha strong in the fight versus COVID-19. With world-class luchadors Blue Demon Jr., the Lucha Brothers, LA Park, Ultimo Dragon, Cain Velasquez, Konnan, and so much more. Head to lucha-masks.com and you too can become a masked warrior. Lucha-masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
All right, guys, we got to get into another episode of Lucha Underground in our Lucha Underground Rewind. This week, we're focusing on Season 1, Episode 23, Fire in the Cosmos, which is interesting.
Oh, things sucked.
Really? I didn't.
Nah.
I wouldn't say the whole thing sucked. There were some issues and some high points, but I did like this kind of initial vignette. They're up on top, legit on top of the temple, filming here, and this is Dario talking to Aerostar as Aerostar is gazing off into the cosmos.
And you think Aerostar's different than Drago because he's not in the bathroom, but Aerostar actually used the roof as his bathroom. If you were ever at the temple and you thought it was raining, I've got news for you, buddy.
It may have been Aerostar.
That wasn't raining?
No, that wasn't rain, Byron. We just pushed you under it to clean yourself up.
I just thought it was one of those many California showers we get.
Oh,
the weird thing is Davari was filling up his glass. I don't know what the deal was.
We didn't see enough of him to start on his gimmick yet.
Yeah, well, we saw enough of him in this episode, though. Anyway, so Dario's basically trying to stoke the fires here with Aerostar. Does your inspiration come from the cosmos? Because Drago's comes from down below and he's fired up to kick your ass or whatever. It was fun. As far as it's basically a locker room promo, the old school I'm going to kick your ass promo, except it's all being done by the top heel. So
okay, how are you going to get inspiration from looking at a bunch of stars and shit to kick someone's ass? It makes no fucking sense, okay?
Well, now, I think that that Dario just hadn't read far enough ahead in the scripts yet to know that what Aerostar was really doing was looking into the future, and he was already pissed because he was going to lose.
Right. He's like, God damn it, I can't alter the fucking timeline. I got to lay down for this guy.
He's actually up there thinking, shit, where did I leave my can of Aquanet and the lighter? That's what he's trying to figure out.
He was watching the match and Dario interrupted him, so he didn't get to see the finish to know how to counter it.
There you go. I like that one.
Shit. I like that one too. Yeah, that's good.
All right. Cuerno, Tejano, Cage versus Mundo, Hernandez, Puma. Meatloaf,
okay.
Go. No? Meatloaf, nothing?
Oh, he can't say anything about Phantasma for the rest of the episode. Oh.
But you get my...
This is the best he's sounded in a long time.
I love it. We can't hear you at all, Meatloaf. You fix that and we'll let Casey talk about it.
I muted myself.
There it is.
It's the button. It's the button every time.
I had something so good to say, too.
There was a map. I should just... Wait a minute. There we go. Wait for it. Go.
Go ahead.
Okay, I really didn't. This was a trios team that we should have seen more of because they actually played off each other well, and Cage and Cuerno was actually a really good team.
Yeah, I thought it was
good. Did you actually say those things?
And hey, let's do something cool with Tejano for once. Here we go.
This is the Professor Casey speaking, right? See,
I
man.
I thought it was a fun match. I mean,
he channeled his inner Meatloaf, though. That's the problem.
Look, I love.
There was a lot of Deviri.
That was so weird. I loved the Mundo 10 kicks thing, and then the pause for the big spinning kick. That was actually a fun Johnny spot. And then the crowd was a little sleepy, but once they started diving, oh my god! And I don't know for sure, but everything in this episode, and I'll get more into it in some of the other matches, but everything in this episode felt like it had to have been the second taping for the day because everyone was asleep, bro.
It was the second Sunday taping, which is always super sleepy.
Oh, so we've already done a day.
Yeah.
I thought Hernandez, it was cool to see him in the ring on the show, and he was doing a lot of stuff that I think the cameras were missing. I think the camera work on the show as far as the coordination with the people on the floor was off. I mean,
this was honestly the first match too, and this became kind of a staple of Lucha Underground. If you were there live, man, the stuff that would go on the floor in these big kind of matches would be amazing. And especially guys like you probably heard me talk about Marty the Moth before, but that guy with no camera on him would bump just as hard and do a crazy spot off on the side. And these guys were kind of doing that in this match too. And the cameras were not really used to following that kind of action yet. And then your homeboy Brandon, when he was in later and some other stuff, they got a lot better at it and chasing the stuff on the floor while the hard camera got the ring. But
some Brandon would say is like he knew wrestling, he knew the moves,
right?
So he knew where the shot was going, whereas a lot of the other ones are Big Brother camera people. So
a lot of these other guys are just regular reality show camera guys, and the pedestal guys.
The camera.
Most of them are literally from Big Brother.
Yeah, I mean, and those are the hard cam guys from Big Brother too. They're on a tripod or a pedestal in the main Julie Chin's studio or whatever, you know. Yeah, and guys like Brandon, who's a little more of a run and gun guy and a wrestling fan, he was much more suited to it. And I think they got another camera op down the line that was kind of the same. But
I thought it was interesting though, because I was noticing off the bat Hernandez showing a lot of character and personality, and like doing a lot of looks, and like he does that, but there's a lot of bravado, and I was like, oh, he's kind of like trying to job these guys out, but then you see him getting countered every time, and then Vampiro pops in. He's like, this guy's ego's out of control, and then it was just cranky Vampiro complaining about everyone's ego for the rest of the hour.
Well, yes, I get that. And honestly, it was a little endearing at the time. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little more annoying now, but at the time, I didn't mind it. I can't say that I
didn't realize how fucking creepy Vampiro was about women. Lucha Underground until I rewatched it. I didn't see it the first time around, and they kind of hit him. That's what gets me going. I'm like, what the fuck?
But I think a lot of that was intentional, and I think a lot of that also was DJ coming out of the kind of ruthless aggression era of WWE. Don't forget, WWE still had divas back then. They were still doing, they were just starting to lay off the.
So what you're
stuff.
saying is DJ was responsible for the fuck dungeon segments.
I think that was Roach still.
That was probably definitely Roach. But what he
but the commentary side of it, I think that DJ was the one that kind of coached them in that direction. And also keep in mind that WWE really was making a bigger PG turn at the time. So part of Lucha Underground trying to find their way in the marketplace was doing a little more raunchy stuff and trying to be a little bit like ECW was at times, and how the attitude era of WWE and the Monday Night Wars kind of was. I think they wanted a little bit of that because that part of the market segment was open. Nobody was doing that at this time when Lucha Underground came on the air.
I feel like at its best, the show is when it reminds me of ECW, honestly.
Yes, I don't disagree. I don't disagree, but that's also a good part of the market that was definitely missing at the time.
Yeah.
I felt like at the beginning of this match, though, the first couple minutes felt very much like a WWE big scrum before, on a go home show before a pay-per-view where everyone's kind of trying to protect themselves. And then Hernandez does that tope suicido or whatever he does over the top rope. And after that, finally the crowd comes to life a little bit. The match comes to life a little bit. And I'll give it all to Hernandez. That moment, I think even the boys were like, oh shit. Because he didn't go over the top rope. He cleared that motherfucker. He was way over him, and that's a big boy.
He did the good version of the Taker dive. He did the Taker dive that Taker wishes he could have done. Yeah,
I mean, it was spot on, and the boys weren't even really in the best spot, and he just went for it, man. And then everybody after that, you kind of saw everybody kind of lit a fire after that, and everybody's dives were on point. Everybody was just going for it. It got real fun.
And he's a huge fucking dude. He's like, damn, man.
A big boy with not the best knees either. And he just went for it. Like, I'll give him props. Like, you're not going to see Big Rick doing that.
No. Please.
I also like the corner run spot where they kept running into the corners and fast running after each other and that whole exchange. That was really entertaining.
I like it more in a 6-sided ring because you've seen it in AAA and it actually works a lot cooler, but people will get a lot more blown up. I didn't like that this led to a triple threat match afterwards.
That was weird.
That was super duper weird. So let's talk about that a little bit. Cuerno gets the pin on Puma here, which is huge. Pretty big. Your boy is pinning the champ. Yeah. But then we go into
we don't talk about Konnan championships, do we?
Yeah, well, yeah, we can. Cage, the Mac, and Son of Havoc is what we get out of this. Dario basically comes out and says, okay, that's great. You guys have won. You're moving on. But now I want to see a 3-way match with one person from each of the trios teams against each other to get us excited for the trios final next week, which is going to be a 3-way match with 3 teams. Because that's not confusing.
Right.
But honestly, look, this is the kind of confusing that you would almost expect in a AAA arena. So
Oh no!
they would have
been billed as a
tournament.
6-man match, and then suddenly become a 3-man, and then it would be one tag team of 2 versus 3 tag teams of 3.
Well, it's no more confusing than last week when we had a championship match, but yet somehow Puma had to put together his trios team before the championship match. Like, so confusing, not to mention the mask versus mask nonsense that happened in the last episode. Like, the last episode, that was some bullshit.
I'm so sad I didn't get to rant on that, but I'm sorry you guys missed out. You're going to have to pay me to do it now.
It's all right. I didn't watch it at all and decided to comment on it, so it's all right.
I was there live. I've seen it enough times.
God. Yeah.
Now, the thing I did like about this 3-way dance that we had going on here was I think you got to see Willie Mack kind of. It was a very PWG-esque kind of match at first, but then I think you see Willie Mack with non-luchadors flowing like a luchador at times and really seeing the potential of what Willie Mack might be bringing to Lucha Underground. And at the time, nobody knew. Like, we knew Willie Mack could do some stuff. Like, that was no secret to us. But as an audience member watching it for what Willie Mack could bring to Lucha Underground, or a guy like me who'd never seen him before.
I've never seen him before. No,
you're seeing some real sparks of what you could get if you use this guy the right way. And I always love Willie Mack, but when I started watching him wrestle, he was just doing all of Ahmed Johnson's moves. Right. Because I think that's the way bookers wanted to use him, and he was getting his little $400-500 a night for it, and I'm sure he was happy with that. No, it's shave off for $0. Yeah, this was way earlier in his career than that. Yeah. He might be getting $400-500 a night right now, which is tragic.
Hot dog and a handshake.
Anyway, I liked that part of it. The Tower of Doom power slam spot was kind of worked. It kind of worked. I liked that they tried it. Let's put it that way. I like that they tried it.
The suplex catch outside.
Yes,
the dive.
Which came right after that. That was impressive because I wasn't expecting it. And Cage
one of the first times
caught. Right? I mean, Cage caught him like right on the shoulder.
Yeah, it's like.
You see Cage do it a lot now. Like, he did it in AEW and all that too recently. But yeah, this was like the first time I think you saw him do it on this show. I think.
Well, and Son of Havoc,
the Evil Dead chainsaw.
And Son of Havoc is the perfect guy to do this move with, because he does that ring spring off his shoulders where he goes into it, and he kind of came into the dive that way, and Cage called him perfectly. He's also the perfect guy because he sucks, and you want to see him get suplexed. Well, he's the right size, and he does it slow enough that you can time how to catch him the right way and everything.
I did have one note in here as well.
What's that?
Which was that you set up for Rana. When he did the Rana into the kind of putting someone on top of someone. Yeah. And there was like a whole decade passed of him trying to get it all set up. And then
you should have seen the ladder match with Pentagon before they edited it for television. Yeah.
No, you shouldn't have. No one should have to see that.
I saw it when they edited for television. That was worse than that was bad enough.
I'll tell you what though, Vamp did say at one point in time that he was a fan of Son of Havoc having enough time to clap his hands on a spot. Like, Vamp just flat out called him out for it in the middle of the match. That's the Vamp that I love right there. 'Cause he was just like, yeah, well, he had enough time to clap his hands on that spot. I was just like, damn, dog, way to expose the dude's business. But it was terrible. It was so obvious and so terrible. It's just like, don't be trying to pull that indie bullshit over here, bro. Vamp is vicious.
Even when he does that thing in the the classic rise moment in the corner before he does his shooting star press.
Yeah.
It literally is.
It was just funny.
What?
Well, see, he's got to do it slower, Beef, so that you think he's taller, because if he did it too fast, you'd realize how little he is.
Yeah, but it's dangerous for him to do that, though, because if he does this, then the crowd might be taller than him, and he's standing in the ring. So we got to be careful, man.
Yeah, I think Josh is still taller than him at ringside when he's standing on the top rope.
But Cage got the win clean here, which I liked. I liked the finish here. I didn't have any issue with that. I think we've gotten away from some of the horrible finishes that you saw in the first half of this season. And honestly, from here on out, most of these episodes start to get pretty good to me. I typically find one spot in them that makes it better than that one that we called the worst episode of Lucha Underground ever that we had a few weeks back.
once we clear Pentagon feuding with Sexy Star, so we got a few weeks of shit left.
Well, we got some
We've got
stuff that
season 4 to
Casey's.
come yet, so.
See, I at the time when this stuff aired, I wasn't that mad at Sexy Star yet. Like, I knew she was kind of garbage in the ring, but I liked a little bit of what they were doing with the character.
I love
how
how Meltzer reporting on the Konnan interview was sure to pick out Sexy Star being a shitty worker. I just love it. I just warmed my heart.
It did.
You know what's amazing to me is she acts so tough. And I brought this up when she was like, hey, Dario, I want my revenge. I'm going to beat the hell out of, the crew, all three of them, or I'm going to beat up Big Rick, or like, I'm going to hurt people and send them to the hospital because I'm so tough. And all of her offense is like a lucha arm drag, which isn't even like the real arm drag, and also a roll up.
Yeah. Those are good moves. Good, solid, basic.
I'm gonna hospitalize this person with 2.5 counts.
I'm gonna.
Johnny Gargano, isn't it?
What's going to happen is she's going to be like, count to 10, I'll stand up before 10. And she will repeatedly not stand up before 10. You'll get so frustrated, you'll hit your head against the wall 10 times. And that's how she'll knock you out. Maybe. I do agree with you, though, Meef. I want to see a match with Johnny Gargano where there's so many 2.5 counts that he wins because the other guy's so blown up, he just quits. He's just like, fuck, this is stupid. I quit.
I've had matches like that against his Fire Pro edit, so I just turned the game off. I'm like, oh my fuck this.
We see a lot of Daviri by this point in time. And what is he drinking, Casey? Is he drinking
piss?
Oh,
it's piss. Yeah, he's a big fan.
We know he's drinking piss already.
Yeah, he's a big fan of Lyoto Machida.
I thought that was so.
For our listeners that don't know, Lyoto Machida has come out in interviews saying that he drinks a glass of his own piss every morning. And I defy you to look at Davari's drink and tell me that is not piss. He may not know it was piss when he was drinking it the first time, but he kept drinking it every other episode.
I think he knew.
It's tangy. It's like apple juice.
It's really, you have to hand it to Lucha Underground, especially season 1, where they really just, they went for it,
Yeah, they were clearly playing to the German audience by having a man drink piss all the time.
I mean, I'm pretty sure when Davari walked by when we were out in the parking lot that one time, he was listening to the remix for Ignition there in his headphones. It's pretty obvious what he's into.
I get that.
Oh, you get that one? You like that? I went a long way.
A song about pissing.
So we get our Drago in the bathroom moment. It's been a little while since we've had
Speaking
one.
of piss.
This is the second time. And Dario and Drago are meeting in Drago's office. So he can stay cool on the tiled floor or something.
This is my second time meeting you here, and you declined to show me your penis. And now I want to see the lizard, Drago. Show me, and I will give you a unique opportunity.
Wow. I like to believe that Luis, as an actor, wouldn't even go that far to get into
show him the whip of the dragon's tail.
Oh God!
But he is trying to stoke the dragon's fire here for the match.
Oh, Freudian slip, Justin.
I did that on purpose. I'm sorry. We talk about ball shavers and stuff, and then this is what happens later. I can't help it.
Yeah. I can't wait until we get you that Real Doll sponsorship you've been looking for, Justin.
Woo! Let us do this. I'm going to be all clean and fresh after I use that box full of stuff, and then we're going to
replace Byron.
Get down. So let's talk about this in-ring moment, because this is setting up not Casey's favorite feud ever, but Pentagon comes out and makes Melissa announce for him, because they won't let him talk on the mic or say it in Spanish himself, that he dedicates his next sacrifice, or whatever he's calling it, to his master. And then he attacks Melissa.
And Shoot breaks her ankle right here, I think, actually. I think that really happened.
I don't know. It's weird because I thought the way she was fighting it off made it too much. Like, she should have just taken a bump right here, and then they could have done the save and the rescue, because she can bump. She can actually wrestle, by the way. Like, she's not like super duper great or anything, but she can bump just fine.
If I had to pay money, Justin,
go ahead.
If I was the betting man, she Mr. Sexy Star Mr. Q, I think, because Vampiro was standing up at ringside way too long that it made him look like shit for not getting in there. And because he was waiting for her to show up. So I think that's why Melissa had to fight so much.
Maybe. Because it felt to me like she should have just taken a bump and they could have gotten right into it. What are you saying, Byron?
Oh, I mean, as far as timing, they retime stuff on the show all the time. It's edited.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, but I mean, you got her flailing in the ring and fighting. You're not going to not use that footage. I mean, it looked kind of crazy-fied and sloppy or whatever. But yeah, like really, I think he should have grabbed her. She fights it off for a second. Then she takes a quick bump and lays out for a minute. And then Sexy Star can take her sweet-ass time and Vamp can holler on commentary and
so funny.
Whatnot.
I'm going to have to get in there and stop this. And he's like stood up. And then he moves a foot. And then he's like 30 seconds later,
I can't take this shit, Matt.
Play my fucking music. He couldn't get in the ring.
Play my fucking music.
He couldn't save her. See?
And they're like, we don't play anyone's music. It's added in post.
Can you imagine when he's patrolling with his Krav Maga as a guardian angel? He has to have a boombox with him, and they have to play his music before he can save somebody from being mugged.
Of course. Why not, man? I would make them bring my music too. Yeah.
Down.
Anyway,
I think that this spot could have actually been so cool if he's got Sexy Star on the or Melissa on the ground and he's pointing at Vamp. We don't really know that he's the master yet, but so Pentagon's pointing to him because he's the maestro, the master or whatever. He's pointing at him, and then Vamp is like threatening to come in there, and then Pentagon's twisting back on the arm a little more. You could have played it out as long as you want, and then you get the run in from Sexy Star, and he sits down. Like you could have played this out to add a lot more to the moment.
I know that we've established that when Pentagon falls the other way, he breaks your arm, but the way that he fell after he got drop kicked in the back still would have hyperextended her arm. I'm just saying.
It sure would have. Anyway, yeah, Sexy Star makes the save, setting up a new or continuing to set up this feud between Sexy Star and Pentagon Jr.
Yeah, which we don't talk about. It never happened. This segment never happened. This show never happened.
They're really trying to heel him out here, and the crowd was kind of going for it a little bit, but
it also made him
the naughty chant came in.
It made him. He looked so cool the whole time. Okay, he's a bit unhinged. That's not. Judge not lest thou be judged, as I like to say.
You know what I mean?
Well, he was getting the heel heat on the beating up Melissa part, but then when the Sexy Star came in and made the save, he got a little bit of a Puto chant or whatever, but that was still more out of fun. And you could see a lot of the hardcore fans while they're doing the Puto chant that they're just like,
yeah,
I'm not healing out Pentagon, not happening. A lot of folded arms.
To the point where their actual match, there's a couple guys in the audience.
Good looking guys.
Really cheering for Pentagon. Great looking gentlemen. Yeah.
But it's just like this is another huge step in him being the center of attention, center of focus. Whether or not he's heel or face, the temple kind of washes off those terms, and you're just everyone's a competitor. And this guy, you want to see what's going to happen. He's about to beat up the ring attendant, or the ring announcer. This is a guy to watch.
If he would have given her the Penta driver, he would have been the biggest star in the history of the company. I mean, he still is, but you know what I mean.
Right. No, that it would have happened a lot sooner. That would have been interesting.
Worked for Tommy Dreamer, right? Multiple times. Yeah.
You got to do it. And again, I see, and I don't take this as a weird male versus female thing, except for how they made her react. If she just takes the bump, we know she's an actual worker and it's not a big deal. The way she scrambled and flailed around, it kind of made it worse. But I don't really blame her. Something was amiss there, either in how it was planned or
she probably just fucked up saying his name too many times, so he got mad.
She was actually very good on the mic this week, and she actually did the extra flavor on the cage announcements this time, and it was kind of the beginning of that.
You think something's going on between them?
From the 559, they call him Cage.
Oh, it just moved, Justin. Do that again.
No, thank you. Anyway, Aerostar Drago, best of 5 finale. The crowd was dead. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know how much this crowd had sat through here, but I was so mad watching this back today because I'm popping. I loved how they started off with a ton of power move stuff, the spike suplex, the outside springboard. Like the whole match started with all these crazy power moves, which
and they had all this cool story that they started getting to. They're trying to fuck each other up, right? Like
I loved it. And even Vamp is like, damn, that was snug, like the Aerostar trust fall, but the crowd is just not into it. What the fuck?
Even when tables start getting busted out, they're still quiet. What the fuck?
Dude,
They did a little bit of Aerostar.
He power drove himself into the concrete floor.
Yeah. I loved it. The springboard dive through the table thing was great. There's just so many amazing moves in this whole match. I still love the match. Like, forget it. Watch it with the sound off if you guys are rewatching this episode. This is season 1, episode 23. This is a good match. All of these matches were good. And I love the fact that they designed them each to be different. One, they start off with mat work. One, Drago's come in more like strong style. This one, they're coming with power moves, like big man power moves to start the match. Every one of these matches is telling the story a different way and showing how unique and complete these guys are as wrestlers.
I just wish that we had a little more, and Drago got it because he had the feud with Cuerno a little bit before this.
Right.
But I wish we got to see more of these guys working as Technicos against some Rudos so we could see what they do when they're trying to pull out all the stops and fuck someone up more, so that when it comes out in this match, it means a little more. But that's just me. That's just me. It was still a great match.
The storyline as it plays out as them being two, rivals that are like, friendly rivalry. And then as they gets on, like actually in the matches, they then start to try underhand tactics a little bit, not all the way, but there's like little bits that make it actually, it's not just a straightforward, all these guys fight each other.
Each guy is trying to see what he can pull out to get over on the other guy. And like, they're making it into a real feud slowly. And they're doing that with in-ring storytelling. These guys aren't.
I need to ask you guys.
Yeah.
Do you think the right guy went over in hindsight?
No.
Me either.
I don't, because I think Drago was over enough. I think his storyline was good enough. I get where they're going with it and the whole, Drago versus Puma thing that comes out of him winning, which, by the way, Drago wins with the tail of the dragon thing, goes over and gets a title match from Dario. But I think that Aerostar, for what he ends up becoming to the storyline and his character arc and whatnot, would have been served better in going over here. And I think Drago would have still been plenty over. I think that guys like me were more familiar with him in general. I think the Temple was glomming onto him a bit better, and his storyline, his look, and everything was going to get him to where he needed to go anyway. And Drago could have done it without getting this rub.
Right. I 100% agree with that. I also have to add that I feel like Aerostar's style needs you to push him very quickly and efficiently because he gets hurt a lot, because he does a lot of dangerous shit. Right now, he's suffering from some kind of spinal injury. That he's, and it's just like, okay, man, you got to push this guy quick. You got to get what you can out of him because he might not be there tomorrow because he does fucked up shit all the time and he doesn't learn from it.
Yeah.
Like face planting the concrete floor.
Like falling from the roof of every building he works.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that poor guy. Well, there's Auto Lucha's back, so maybe he can take a dive onto the front of a car or something ridiculous when he comes back.
Oh, God. If someone's going through a windshield, it's going to be...
I'm not saying that as a suggestion, Aerostar. Don't actually do that. That's totally a joke.
Don't have Pagano throw you through someone's windshield, please.
Yeah, I wish. Is Pagano working right now? Because it's just trouble.
Chessman versus Pagano. That's it.
Look, we'll be right back. There's a couple other things we want to talk about in the world of wrestling this week, and it should be interesting. Back right after this.
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. LuchaCentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
All right. In addition to the awesome Expo Lucha stuff that you guys should all go back and check out, and of course you saw the second part of our interview earlier in this episode, hit up LuchaCentral.com, get all the information about what's going on with all those luchas. You can see the whole listing for all the different various segments from this year's Expo Lucha. There's some great stuff on the site right now. And Byron's arch enemy, Mutter, I don't think he even has anything up right now, so you don't even have to worry about that. Yeah, exactly. God, speaking of which, let me hit the Wall of Fame and Shame real quick. Wall of Fame, Sunny Kiss is still on there. Denise Salcedo for loving donuts and for surviving that car crash just fine. Thank you, Denise. We hope you're on the mend. Tony Khan, Karrion Kross, Roman Reigns, Casey's still on there. The Robert Stone brand. Robert Stone brand might need to come off soon. We haven't done much with them recently. But and Kevin Nash, the Super Shredder, is also on the Wall of Fame. Wall of Shame right now. Still, we got David Lagana, Jeffrey Briggs, and JT Wilcoxon, our buddies that tried to file the trademark for Lucha Underground Wrestling. Idiots. Velveteen Dream still on there. Impact for not being able to get its wrestlers verifications. Brit Wrestling, Pedos, Predos, and Pervs. Tessa Blanchard for phoning it in when she was champion at Impact. Retribution no longer on the list. Crossing Retribution off.
No, dude. Yeah,
keeping Retribution back on.
Why? No, they're good because
we're taking them off now.
T-Bar told that guy to eat his ass for making fun of Muslims. So
that was great. Absolutely off the Wall of Shame, almost on the Wall of Fame, because that was classic T-Bar. UFC 4 Avengers. I'm taking Predator off the list. It's been off the list for a while now. It's
working.
Ricochet until he cuts a good promo. Penis gimmick guy firmly on the list.
Hold on. Wow. Did you see Ricochet do the Eddie Guerrero chair spot?
It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. He threw the chair, right? He did hit the mat, threw the chair, and then he fainted like a southern plantation. Wow. It was just
Eddie,
Jesus Christ.
We love you, Eddie. We miss you, Eddie. Please come back, Eddie. Please save us.
It was bad.
Can we switch him out?
LWO shirt, nice, Meef.
Oh, hey, wait.
Love that.
See, Meef and I worked that spot out.
What are you gonna do with your penis gimmick? Will you marry me button?
I think I threw mine away. Byron still has his.
Wow.
Byron's got it under his pillow.
I mean, that's worth money or something. I don't know. Yeah, for those who don't know, that's the penis gimmick guy proposing and the lady saying yes.
I dare you to send it to his address, Byron. Send it back to him.
Poor lady. I feel bad for her, man.
I feel really bad for her. I don't even want to get her mixed up in penis gimmick guy's shit.
Yeah, and she was from Plymouth as well, which is a shithole.
Anyway,
that's a good thing to bring up.
And of course, Cult Icon still on the list. Spotfest Radio is on the list for disandluchamass.com.
Unfamiliar. Both of them unfamiliar.
Unfamiliar.
Austin Theory still on there.
Who?
Yeah, and the WWE brass for their whole Twitch shenanigans. They're still on there. Anybody got anything new for the Wall of Shame? Lars Sullivan's on the list.
Nintendo is on the Wall of Shame for making Animal Crossing so addictive, and all the listeners are on the Wall of Shame as well, because I tweeted my friend code and none of you fuckers fucking friended me on Animal Crossing.
Look, everybody,
that was a good move.
Even Byron. Even
Casey up on Animal Crossing. What's your code? You got it? It's on your Twitter right now? Go to
4578340ZXQ.
It's none of those things.
All right, no, just go to @LuchaGringo on Twitter, get his code, sign up.
If you don't already follow me, it's a private account.
I think the problem is everyone else is done with that game and you're just getting hooked on it now. Byron, who do you got for the Wall of Shame this week?
I got Eric Bischoff for the Wall of Shame.
Eric Bischoff? The Eric Bischoff?
Eric Van Wagenen.
If you don't like me, bite me. Eric Bischoff on his podcast, which we're not going to give the rub to, was talking about Cain Velasquez. Someone asked him about his opinion, and he thought that it was not unexpected that Cain was released. He had this to say about Cain Velasquez: "I would have been more surprised had they kept him around. I just don't think he was mentally or emotionally cut out for sports entertainment." He also said that Cain Velasquez did not have that larger than life presence that you need to have in the ring. I think he is wrong on all of the accounts.
I want to point out what a great success Sam Greco was in WCW. Thank you.
Like, look, oh my God.
We're Bob Sapp.
Look, first of all, Vinny Massaro, shout out to Vinny, did a great job of training Cain in a short period of time. Yes, Cain still needed more. Cain was kind of green, but put him in there and protect him a little bit like they're doing with Dominic. And I think you got a great talent on your hands. Put him in a couple good programs, get him in the PC, doing a little bit of work. And personality-wise, way off the mark. Are you kidding? This guy is larger than life. And I think with just a little tiny bit of media training into how that turn that into wrestling, like, dude, if Rhonda can do it, oh my God, she's terrible promo. She's always been a terrible promo.
I know Bischoff wasn't the booker at the time, but the man who signed off on Yeti the fucking Mummy doesn't think that Cain Velasquez is a star. I think it's all right.
It's just he's so off base. This guy in one of his first matches was, I'm getting blown up on phone calls. Well, he was in the main event for Triple Mania. You know, it's just this guy. He has it. He has the passion to get there, and also he's one of the biggest names that you could sign right now. Like, WWE isn't about matches. It's not about a lot of the details. It's about brands and moments.
And it's also worth the time sometimes. Like, do you remember Kurt Angle when he first started? His first few appearances weren't great. Like, it was a weird thing and trying to figure out how the gimmick was going to work. The same with The Rock. Come on, little Rocky Maivia Jr., whatever he was doing when he started. He was terrible.
Babyface fists.
He was terrible on the mic. He was not great in the ring. Like, The Rock was not good when he started, and it didn't take long. He had the natural thing there. He had some charisma and charm. They just had to polish it up a little bit, give him the right training, and find the right gimmick. And I don't even think you needed to go that far with Cain. I think with just a little bit of that, you know, you get him someone to write him one or two good promos, and the guy is off like a rocket ship.
We know what they did though. They just brought him in to job to Brock, big money. Was it Saudi Arabia, that match?
Yeah, I believe so.
So that's the reason that whole thing existed in the first place, because he wasn't expected to go there just yet, and then they were like, fuck it, we're gonna need you. So
just a shame.
Can we talk about something that's good in wrestling?
Some good cash out.
Yeah, let's go for it. We don't normally do that. Let's try it. Let's see how it works.
Okay, so first of all, right here, motherfuckers, right here. I'm going to tell you right now, if you disagree, you're a piece of shit. Stop listening to our show. Minoru Suzuki should be Wrestler of the Year for this year. I'm going to tell you that right now, because Suzuki versus Ibushi.
Is this the good stuff? This is the good stuff.
Meltzer gave it 5.5 stars. It's almost a 6-star motherfucker.
He
right
said
here.
it was the best G1 match.
I was going to say this is part of the G1. So okay, this I will watch. This sounds interesting to me because I watched.
It's a couple nights back.
I watched all the WWE this week. Not much to say there at all. Impact was interesting. I like what they're doing with EY over at Impact as the champ. I can get behind EY all day as the champ, heel champ, by the way. Good stuff. And you know, NXT, AEW, give it a middle rating. But if this sounds like this is the thing to watch this week.
Minoru Suzuki at 52. Yeah, it's already down to the finals now. So the G1's ending tomorrow or tonight.
I'm not sure. I've been trying to catch up.
So, look, Minoru Suzuki, I'm not going to talk about later matches than this because I haven't seen his last matches in the tournament, because Ibushi was a couple nights ago. But he's consistently, at the age of 52 years young, having a better year than most people ever will have. You think that piece of shit Yoshihashi will ever have a year this good? No.
Yoshihashi, for himself, has been having a great G1 as well.
But hey, this year you have had Moxley Suzuki at the beginning of the year. Okay. You had that. You had the Nagata feud, which was really fucking good. You had his match against Shingo, which was amazing.
When was his match with Mad Kurt? Was that last year?
That was last year. He couldn't go to the UK this year, I don't think. He would only had like 2 months to do it this year. He unfortunately didn't get to wrestle Orange Cassidy this year like originally planned, sadly. But his match with Shingo where he won the belt, fucking great. I heard his rematch with Shingo was great, but I didn't watch it yet. The one from the G1 later on.
I watched it. Really good too. I mean,
wrong guy went over.
He's just consistent in the G1, which is one of the most grueling wrestling tournaments there is, and he's 52, and he's bringing it.
Him and Ibushi beating the fuck out of each other for like 15 minutes ish, no rest holds, just beating the fuck out of each other.
There was this one moment where they're slapping the shit out of each other, and like Ibushi gets tagged a few times for real, and you see him hiding his smile, like he was loving it.
No, and they did this whole thing at the end where Suzuki's knocked out, but he's fucking smiling because he's so great. And if they could have shown him have a boner, they would have. But in Japan they got to pixelate that.
No, they did. They had when they were both.
They don't have to pixelate it if it's in the pants, only if it's out of the pants.
I think you're underestimating the hog of Minoru Suzuki.
One of my favorite things about the New Japan style is that both wrestlers will sell afterwards, and so they had that shot of the side shot of Ibushi looking up at the lights, going, man, that was really hard, and in the background you're just straight at
wow
legs spread.
All right, so I definitely one of you guys gonna have to send me your login because I need to watch this.
We don't do that because that's illegal. You're gonna.
I'm sorry, we're not gonna do anything illegal. I'm gonna go sign up for New Japan World right now. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
I'll give you my blog.
I have
$15
two
a month.
walls of shame though.
What are your 2 walls of shame, Meatloaf?
Swerve for being a pussy. Tejano took far worse shit than Swerve did. Well, I didn't even say anything bad. I just simply said that facing against Phantasma in a promo wasn't the best idea.
It wasn't. But look, can you really blame Swerve himself? I don't know if I can put him on the wall of shame because I don't know that this is entirely his fault.
I think someone's sensitive. They got banned. They got blocked.
Tejano, I literally called him some very horrible things in Spanish.
Are we getting him as a guest on the show next week to confront Meef about this?
We should.
I think we are.
I don't mind.
I don't think the office lets their people on our show.
I want to say congrats to Swerve for getting his podcast signed to the WWE.
Oh yeah. I can't.
Well, that's pretty much the only way you're allowed to continue any outside things at this point in time.
Yeah, I think that's what was happening.
I think he was just like, "Oh, so you get all my money? Fine, whatever. Just put it on your network because I still want to do it because I can't get over doing shit for you guys."
But, I think, by the way, that and all the Twitch stuff makes sense. I think the battle is whether or not they're independent contractors. I think that's the battle.
Yeah, I'm still a little salty about Swerve having that podcast because I was so close to having him lined up to do our show. And then literally 2 weeks before I was going to get him on, he started his own thing. And then he was kind of like, I don't want to do it. I got my own thing going. And it's kind of what's going on with Chavo right now, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's up with Chavo?
First of all, he's in Australia.
Did Justin just turn into a Cylon for anyone else, or was that just me?
Hopefully not for everyone. Anyway, it doesn't matter because you don't need to know what I was saying. And yes, Byron, I did see Denise Salcedo's post, and yes, she is still clearly on the Wall of Fame. It's a great post. She's absolutely a California girl, and I won't say anything more about it than that. Meatloaf, so how's it going for...
We're sticking Jordan Devlin on there, / NXT UK, because they've got...
Oh, no, he's on... Devlin's already on it.
Jordan Devlin is on the Wall of Shame. Why is he already on it, Casey?
No, he was already on there, though. We read his name.
Yeah.
He's definitely in the list.
He puts him on every fucking week and forgets, and then puts him on the next week.
Well, this week he actually appeared on NXT UK and called out Santos Escobar. And the NXT UK is doing exactly what we thought would happen, and half of the people on it are either sexual predators,
allegedly,
women beaters,
allegedly,
photo proof, and the other thing as well is some of those people who are not technically caught up in it are very supportive of their friends who happen to be sexual predators,
allegedly,
and women hitters.
Allegedly.
So I look forward to Jordan Devlin having to go into a ring with a real man and getting knocked the fuck about.
So we should send Finn Balor over there.
No, because Jordan Devlin's going to look like Finn Balor.
What were you going to say?
Dumb. He's dumb and he's a chode, but apparently Will Ospreay is in the clear and was not trying to block Pollyanna from working, and it's all come out. Tell me.
We're going an hour on this. So we've got caught up in it. Is it Gary Vandenhorn is the person who's been blamed for it?
I believe so. Vandenhorn sounds, yeah,
which is a very strange show. Is all I'll put. But they've got Cassius as their champion. He's cool. But basically, the thing with Will Ospreay is the fact that he didn't help. So it's his best friend who he trained with Lucha Britannia. That's where Will Ospreay was training. Used a bit of muscle. So it's almost like Will Ospreay could have said something to him, because it was Will Ospreay's friend who, sexually assaulted somebody, and Will Ospreay was trying to protect and trying to run her out of town. And Will Ospreay and his partner both went on Twitter and both privately, no doubt, have said things about her and tried to end her career. So everybody's now arguing that Will Ospreay is a good person because he unfortunately lost a close friend this week due to mental illness. They're trying to kind of protect Will Ospreay from this, but at the end of the day, Will Ospreay didn't give two fucks about anybody else that he's thrown under the bus or run through on Twitter. And the fact of the matter is, he's a big piece of shit who has some very lot of issues himself, but that's an excuse what he does to other people, but he expects it for himself.
Well, I certainly hope he gets some help in the entire matter, because it does sound like
New Japan's sure pushing him like they think he's like a fucking saint. That's for sure.
Well,
but don't they do that in New Japan? Isn't that a help if you are some form of piece of shit? New Japan tends to kind of.
Yeah, but it's way more than Elgin, though. It's more than Elgin.
They're a little different over there, but at the same time, like, look, what I think the moral of the story is, regardless of how, behind any issues Will Ospreay really is irrelevant to the fact that he probably needs some help. He needs a slap on the wrist, and he needs to get himself right in the head on some things. And maybe this will help that happen. I can't judge because it's all alleged and it's all, hearsay, this and that. But at the same time, there's a lot of this stuff in the wrestling world. And it really needs to get curbed to a certain extent. A lot of these guys do need to get slapped down to a certain extent, and they need to get their heads screwed on right, regardless of whether or not they're in the business, just as people alone. And I hope that this industry doesn't continue to be a catalyst for this type of behavior in any fashion, regardless of what the level of what any of these people have done is. Look, some of it is minor stuff down here, some of it is major stuff down here, but it all leads to the fact that there is a legitimate issue in the way that people thought and worked behind the scenes. Like, this shit's got to stop, man. And yeah, you're going to see a lot of your heroes take a fall or lose credibility in the business, and then guys like Meatloaf not want to see them in promotions, or guys like myself not want to see them in promotions or give them the rub. Like, I still think all the Velveteen Dream stuff is highly suspect, and I'm keeping him on the wall of shame because it pisses me off. And I don't like, and I liked the guy before that. You heard me and Byron especially have lots of great stuff to say about it. He was one of our favorite performers in NXT, but now I don't really like watching the guy. And it irks me that he's getting a certain amount of support. And again, this stuff is all alleged. I can't tell you for sure that he did or didn't do something bad, but my gut tells me that I don't like where he's at or the way that they're treating it. And I would like to see him get some help. Who knows? Maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe he's making amends for any wrongdoing that he's done. Maybe he's actually getting the psychological help that he needs. Maybe he's been put in his place. I don't know. I can't say for sure. All I can say is I hope that that's happening. I really do. for all these
the
guys.
thing is, I think the thing with like people like Dream, I think Theory, and some of the other guys who have come back to TV and stuff. Obviously, people still gonna kind of believe what they want to believe. But like the thing is, there was nothing really. There's no real investigation. So all we've ever heard is WWE go, "Well, we looked into it and we think it's okay." If there'd been some kind of, the police have come out and gone, "We've looked into this,"
and we know they've done that in the past. They were really slow to clean up on some of the drug stuff, and they eventually did it. But they really protected a lot of people for a long time, and in a lot of ways that was good because a lot of guys were able to slowly get the help that they needed as they changed their policies.
Yeah,
but
and
they used to overlook stuff clearly.
Yeah, it took Eddie dying for them to do that. So it's
correct. And it's like, why do we have to have something bad happen for it to get there? Look, I want to change the subject. I got to talk about one last thing because I really want to know. Byron, have you watched the Ember Moon stuff yet?
No.
Oh my God.
I watched this week's NXT. I should have watched a prior week's.
Okay, but you saw a little bit of the highlights and the recaps.
I saw the recap, and I saw her sit down interview, which I thought was good as a studio interview should be.
Okay, if you say so. I didn't even think that was very good. I'm really hoping she gets it together. We'll see, man. This was basically a holding pattern week across the entire WWE as they shuffle from the whole, draft situation and all that. So in my opinion, we'll get back to it. I think you guys should all go watch some heel EY in Impact though. That was one of the high moments of the week. But Casey, I got one for you. Did you watch AEW this week, Case?
No.
I'm curious. I'm curious to know what you think about.
Oh yeah.
And you don't have to have seen this week to know, but Penta and Phoenix basically being henchmen for Eddie Kingston now. Yeah. It's gone from it being kind of a faction to them really more feeling like his backup muscle at best.
It would have been that way. It would have been that way with Death Triangle also, I think. I think that's. Unfortunately, I think that's how they think that these guys should be booked, which is fucking bullshit. Them wrestling each other in the tournament's a good thing. Might open some eyes a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see.
It sucks because it means both of them aren't getting out of the first round, and they both should be getting out of the first round.
But who do you think does get out of the first round? I mean, I personally think it's got to be Phoenix, but
it's gonna be Phoenix. I don't particularly like that because Penta's my favorite of the two, even though I see the potential in Phoenix. But hey, man, this is the company that put the TV belt back on Cody, so I wasn't down with that either.
But just think, Casey, NXT was going to ruin their careers.
Well, they're on TV, and I think what they're doing now is a step up from before when they weren't.
Yeah, I mean, they just need some nice suits and then microphones so they can do some managerial work. That'd be quite good for them. I mean,
they got Eddie putting them over. They're in the mix.
They got Eddie. Right. They got Eddie Kingston putting over Pentagon Jr., one of the biggest wrestling names in the fucking world.
Well, and that's the difference. I think what they need
Pentagon
to do
is bigger than Eddie Kingston.
I like the idea of these guys facing off, and what I'm hoping happens out of it to a certain extent is I'd like to see Phoenix get kind of a really good mid-card run against some of those best guys in AEW, and I think that Penta should break off, and he should be going one-on-one with the Kenny Omegas and the Moxleys and the Codys out there. I really do. I think that he should be getting booked as the same way you would book a top talent coming out of Japan. If you were booking a top talent from Japan coming over for a 4-month run, that's what you should do with Pentagon right now. He doesn't necessarily have to win or go over, but you need to give it some prestige.
When they did the pre-AEW pay-per-view, the first All In, they treated Penta like that.
That's
and now he's a tag guy.
He was doing that, and at Impact, he was doing that. There you go. And I think there's an element of the Lucha Brothers wanting to stay a tag team. I think there's an element of that, but I also think they weren't on TV for a while, and now they're in the mix, and now they can go to those areas where you're saying.
We'll see. I don't know, man. It's just I really like a lot of the talent in AEW, and the inconsistency. Like, here's what I would do. As a TV producer, if they hired me in to be part of the writing staff, I would say, hey guys, you're missing the writing part of this show. Here's
Right.
how writing works. I need you guys to pull aside, give me any 4 guys, and then I want you to look at those guys and tell me, I'm going to write it for you, but you tell me what the beginning, middle, and end that you want to see out of this guy is. And then I will craft that into a 3 or 4 month storyline for you leading up to a pay-per-view event. We'll stagger these 4 guys. First of all, you cannot do it with your entire roster. You just can't. But you got to do it and do it consistently with about 20% of your roster. So give me those people. Tell me what you want to see happen out of them, and then I'll write that storyline for you. And this is part of what WWE has done in the past. They're not doing it great right now, but they've done it in the past. And there are people that they're doing it with, or trying to do it with. They're trying to do it with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton stuff. Mm-hmm. They're definitely doing it with Alexa Bliss. Long game there, and they're playing it. They're doing it with Roman Reigns right now. They've been doing it for a long time, and it's actually working, by the way. You know, because they have a writer's room, and they give that writer's room respect. And it's not because Vince doesn't go in there and just say some dumb shit. Vince goes in there and says, Dominic, Mysterio is the guy. Here's the points of it. I want to start this build off with Seth. I want this middle stuff with his family. And then I want the conclusion to be this, which we still don't know. They have done that. And then it's the writer's jobs to figure out how to maintain that. And that's where it gets ugly because, especially with Raw, there's 3 hours to fill there. And how do you only do a little piece of that story and stretch it for 4 months? But at the same time, AEW is doing none of this. It's like they sit in the locker room 2 hours before the show and book a show, and that's it.
I'm going to give them a starting point right now, Justin. It's going to give them money, and they're going to have the #1 selling shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees again from this angle. Okay. You feud Pentagon and Orange Cassidy.
Perfect.
Because if Orange Cassidy frustrates Pentagon, he's going to start swearing. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you make a Pinche Naranja shirt, it's going to sell like fucking hotcakes.
I'd buy one.
That is genius. I would buy one in a heartbeat.
Plus, if he breaks both his arms, he can put them in his pockets.
Speaking of buying shit,
I
bought this. This is the Legends of Lucha Libre Pentagon or Penta Zero M costume from Mass Republic that I just hooked up on. I'm going to do this.
Speaking of buying shit, I just want to point out that I have this and Kevin Kleinrock does not. It's Storm Shadow from G.I. Joe.
That is the dope Storm Shadow. That's the reason you're on the Wall of Fame. Thank you for showing that off.
The figures.
Look, guys, I hope AEW gets it together. I'm so happy about everything that went down with Expo Lucha and our Konnan interview. Thank you guys so much for listening to that earlier in the show. We're going to try to get some more great guests in this show. It's been awesome getting the feedback from you guys. Feel free to hit us in the DMs on Twitter, on the Facebook, on the IG, wherever you find us. And until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.